Testing. All right. I think we're live on YouTube and Twitch. Making sure. Yep. We're live. Okay. And trouble is here. All right. Let's bring in. And trouble is here. Right off the bat.
Yes, indeed. Right off the bat. You
Right
said 1
off the
o'clock?
bat. Yeah.
I'm punctual.
You were like on it. That's awesome.
Although I wouldn't have been ready if like I was going to be on camera. I would
Yeah.
have been like,
Oh, I feel you. I feel you, friend. I
my
wouldn't put.
cat woke me up at like 3 in the morning.
Oh, did?
And I
Oh,
just
shit.
could not fall asleep. And then I like
Yeah.
listened to some like early lives and then I fell asleep on Jaren's live.
Yeah. That was like early this morning, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I woke up. I kept waking up like a couple times in the middle of the night. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that my wife was waking up because I was snoring. So she kept waking me up. I had like this dream that I kept getting kicked. So that must have been it. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So that's I know how it is, man. I know the struggle. Thanks for joining.
Of course. And thanks, Ember. Like I'm already here, girl. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah, so excited.
I'm already here.
Oh.
Yeah.
I gotta turn on TikTok chat on the YouTube side. Okay. And they can see your icons on YouTube. So they can see my icon and your icon. Although I might pull my alt account off of the panel just so that we can see the guest icons. I think I might just do that.
I don't know. I'm just getting shares out.
Right on. There we go. Okay. Oops.
I'll get some shares out too. And I'll share it to Ember too, because, you know, they sent me a share. So
you got to send it right back. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. All right. So we already have a guest in the queue. So this is exciting. So everybody, share out that live and tap the screen. Let's get some likes going. And as you see, I have a special co-host today. I have Redheaded Trouble. She's going to be joining us this afternoon for a little cooking. So let's see what we can do. And I am up on YouTube as well. So, and Twitch. So you guys can see me on all 3 platforms and we are ready to go. So I got to make sure that window is up. So here we go. So we have people from YouTube. Welcome in. Glad you're joining us. Hopefully some mods will jump in there soon. If not, oh well, it's all good. And then we already have the magnificent and inimitable Ethereal Ember and Bryden and Elizabeth. Thank you all. So we have some friends here. We have Queen Laquifa. Thank you. Thank you for the heart me's. Appreciate it. But welcome in, everybody. Hope everybody's having a happy Tuesday.
Do I still have access to my coupon, even though like I'm one of the hosts?
Absolutely.
Do I have to like save that for another day?
No, absolutely. You absolutely do. Yeah, you totally, you can use it. It's good anytime.
Yeah. Okay. So I got like voting powers here.
You do. You totally do. You're like on it. So yeah, you totally do. And, and feel free to jump in anytime. And, so something hits, just jump on in.
I mean, my expertise is all in like biblical stuff. So
That's better.
like I'm happy to jump in on anything that has to do with the Bible.
Right on. I'm happy to do that. Yeah.
As far as the philosophy stuff, I'll let you handle all those.
Okay.
Because I'm
all right. I'm not a philosophy expert.
I cannot be bothered with the God of the Gap stuff.
Yeah.
It annoys me so much.
It seems like that seems like to be like a cis male thing, like philosophy and all that stuff. Seems to be like a guy thing.
I think that they think like if they prove God exists through like doing fine tuning arguments or running tag or some type of thing, just trying to prove the existence of God, like you still got to like figure out which God you're talking about here, because there's literally thousands.
Exactly. Ooh, a Sarah Shark raid. Yay. Okay, so that takes me back.
I love Girls Gone Godless.
Yes, and Triple G is here. Awesome. And Sarah Shark raid. Awesome. That reminds me like when my kids were little. Yeah, Noe's there. Every time I hear Sarah Shark, I hear the Baby Shark song. And so I want to always say Sarah Shark, do 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 do, Sarah Shark, do 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 do. So every time I see that, yeah.
I mean, the baby pink and the baby blue doesn't help with that.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. We're taking guests soon. So we're just letting things marinate for a bit and warm up. And we will be taking guests here very, very shortly. So, all right. So we've got YouTube going. So YouTube looks good. Oh, goodness. We have 53 viewers on YouTube. So welcome, everybody. Glad you all are here. And we've got an equal number here on TikTok. So good deal. Well, I think we're ready to go. How about, what about you? You ready for some trouble?
Oh, yeah. I was born ready.
Let's go. Let's fucking go. All right. I like it. I love it. You're like, I'm born ready. Right on. Okay, let's take up our first guest. So if you are in the guest queue, you must be at least 18. You must have a belief in either the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran. And you also must have evidence that your God is real. All right, let's take our first guest. How's it going?
Going good.
Good. How old are you?
I'm 21.
21. All right. Well, thanks for joining us up here. Thanks for your patience. And which God do you believe in?
Christian.
All right. And what is your best evidence that your God is real?
Yeah, it's a simple argument. I'll present it in like two quick premises, a quick syllogism. P1 would be if universals and particulars exist, God exists. P2, universals and particulars exist. Conclusion, God exists. Which premises do you disagree with? And if you want me to define any words, just let me know.
So hold on. If particulars in the universe exist?
No, and universals, not universe.
And universals exist. God exists?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
P2, particulars and universals exist.
Mm-hmm.
And then C, God exists.
Yeah.
Right?
And just for some more context, I'm defining God as three subjects, right? Three subjects unified.
God equals three subjects unified. What does that mean?
Is that a Trinitarian? Is that a Trinitarian reference? Are you like trying to throw Trinity stuff in there?
Subjects would be a person, so three persons unified would be a Trinity. So yes.
Okay.
Because subject is persons.
Okay, so so you're saying the Trinitarian God exists. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. And all right. So P1. Don't agree with it. So okay. What is your evidence for P1?
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Do you first agree that they exist or no?
It says
We're
if,
atheists.
yeah, we're atheists, but I'm doing the second part, God exists. So I don't grant
Wait,
the particulars universe exists, therefore God exists. I don't grant that.
wait,
So
wait. Who? I'm not talking about a universe. Universals.
I said particulars. I'm looking at your P1. I reject P1.
Okay. So yeah, I can run down the quick argument, right? So with universals in particular, you're gonna have a relational distinction of what's being instantiated.
6th grade level vocabulary, please. We got our audience here. And I should tell you, no one really gives a shit about philosophy, so you got to really dumb it down.
Yeah.
Me
Okay. It's
especially.
simple.
Me
Yeah.
especially.
Yeah.
I
It's
want to
simple.
just like just rip off the head of this thing and just get straight to the Bible and do the cooking there.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So it's very simple. Okay.
Yep.
So all a relational distinction is that when we have, which word do you want me to define? I'll start there.
Well, I just want you to use words that you would talk to a 6th grader too. So the 6th graders don't use relational distinctions, particulars, universals. They don't say any of that. So let's so just put it in everyday plain language.
Hey, Trust, start the timer.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. I can do like a quick example to kind of get my point. For example, you would agree what makes a human is rationality, right?
Rationality. What makes a human is rationality.
Yeah, animality.
So if you're irrational, you're not a human anymore.
Yeah, it's like way simplified.
If you don't have the capacity for animality, no, you would not be human.
Okay, so we're still using way over 6th grade terms, so we gotta bring it way down. Yeah,
because I think your arguments are irrational.
What about my argument is irrational?
Like all your premises. I think
which premise?
1.
What's premise 1?
Yeah, we're still looking at P1, which is if particulars and universals exist, God exists. So that's where we're at.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. So relational distinctions, anything, rationality, 6th graders don't use these words. So
yeah, I can make this down, right?
Yeah.
You would agree to be a human, you need the capacity to have rationality, right?
The capacity to have rationality. No, not necessarily. Because I would say, there are people who have, there are humans who exist that don't have the capacity for rationality.
So you're saying that,
like a person with Alzheimer's, for example, does not have the capacity for rationality. There are people who were born with like severe, mental challenges that don't have the capacity for rationality, and they're still human. So that doesn't fly.
A lot of your argument. That statement that you made about irrationality, like our rationality, like being the pretext for you being human, I think that is very dehumanizing to a lot of and very ableist way of thinking.
I don't think you guys understand. I think you guys mean like you have to be able to figure out. Like you need to be able to speak languages and stuff like that to have rationality.
No,
no, you do not.
It's not what I said.
So to have rationality, even
again, it's very ableist.
Wait, hold on. There's not a single disabled person. There's not a single person with Alzheimer's. There's not a single person that does not have rationality.
That's not true.
Are you gonna say that Helen Keller was?
Helen Keller was rational. Do you even know what rationality means?
Yeah, we know it. I know what rationality means. Yeah, we know what rationality means. It is the ability to think and come to conclusions and think logically.
Well, you don't need to think. You don't need to come to a conclusion to have rationality.
Yeah. So what I'm saying to you though is there are human beings like newborn babies. Well, they have the capacity when they grow. However, there are people who are born with like genetic defects in which they're not able to do any type of reason or logic. Well, so that's not true.
Wait, hold on. You would agree that all humans, regardless of their defects, have a brain, right?
They do have a brain. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So since they have a brain, they would have the capacity to do.
I disagree. I just told you. Just because you have a brain does not mean that you have the capacity to conduct reason or logic.
Okay, perfect. So you're saying this cannot be done. So can you tell me what the contradiction is?
The contradiction?
Yeah.
Okay,
not
you still haven't established if particulars and universals exist, God exists. There's a big gap there, and you haven't filled the gap. So there's no contradiction. It's just it just doesn't follow. It's a non sequitur.
Wait, I was giving you the example using rationality, and you said it's a contradiction. So
I didn't say it was a contradiction. I said I reject.
It can't happen.
I didn't say it can happen. Okay, you got a listening comprehension problem. That's not what I said. That's not what I said. What did I say?
Wait, if it can happen, it means they have the capacity.
Okay, what did I say?
You just said that people with birth defects or people, born disabled or something.
That's not what I said. What did I say?
Wait, I haven't even. Yeah, that they.
I'm stopping you because you're right at the beginning, and that's not what I said.
You said that you can be a human, right, and not have the capacity for rationality.
Not every human has the capacity for rationality. That's what I said.
Okay, perfect. Does every human have a brain?
Every human has a brain, but that does not mean that they have the capacity for rationality.
Okay, perfect. So you're saying capacity just means able to, right? So you're saying no human.
No, I did not say that. That's not what I said. What did I say?
You said no human that's disabled.
That's not what I said. What did I say?
That's exactly what you said.
That's not what I said.
That's literally exactly.
Do we want to go back and review it on YouTube? You want to go back and review it?
Yeah.
That's how you want to waste your time? How about you just listen? So the next time, just listen.
Review it.
It's not what I said at all.
Okay, review it.
God exists.
And universals, not universe.
And universals. Exist. God exists. Exist.
Unified.
God equals.
So yes. Subjects would be a person, so 3 persons unified.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
So what is your evidence for P1?
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, but I'm doing the second part. God exists.
Wait. Who?
I reject P1.
Okay. So yeah, I can run down the quick argument, right? So with universals in particular, you're gonna have a relational distinction of what
we got. Or really dumb it down.
Me especially.
Yeah.
I want to just just.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So it's very simple. Okay.
Yep.
So all a relational distinction is that when we have. Which word do you want me to define?
Sixth graders don't use relational distinctions.
Is rationality, right? For example, you would agree what makes a human is rationality, right?
Rationality? What makes a human is rationality?
Yeah. Animality.
So if you're irrational,
you would not be human.
Okay. So we're still using way over.
Are irrational.
What about my argument is irrational?
1.
What's premise 1?
Exists God. Relational distinctions.
I can make you need the capacity to have rational. You would agree to be a human, you need the capacity to have rationality, right?
The capacity to have rationality. No, not necessarily. Because I would say, there are people who have, there are humans who exist that don't have the capacity for rationality. So I said there are humans who exist that don't have the capacity for rationality. That's what I said.
Okay.
And that's true. So that doesn't necessarily make them not human because they don't have the capacity for rationality.
Okay, so you're saying they're not able to rationalize, right? Since they don't have the capacity, they're not able to rationalize.
So that doesn't. Right? So you're saying that doesn't make them human?
Well, do you agree with the statement or not? If they don't have the capacity to rationalize, they cannot rationalize. Do you agree with that or not?
Yes, that's correct. Now, but are you saying then that doesn't make them human? Is that what you're saying?
So, wait, hold on. So you're saying they don't have the capacity to
rationalize? I just asked you a question. There are humans.
I'm asking, what's the contradiction?
I just asked you a question. Are you saying that doesn't make them human because they don't have the capacity to rationalize? Is that what you're saying?
To be human, you need the ability to rationalize. You can't be human and not rationalize.
Okay. And so I disagree with that because again, there are humans that don't have the ability to rationalize.
Okay, I asked you how does that fall? Okay,
I disagree.
So you're saying humans can't there's some humans that cannot rationalize, right?
That's correct. And that doesn't make them that doesn't make them inhuman. That still makes them human.
Okay, perfect. So I'm asking, what's the contradiction?
I didn't say there was a contradiction. I never said that. Those are your words, not mine.
They can what makes them not be able to rationalize?
It is their abilities or lack thereof.
Give me an example.
Give you an example?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. So we're
I'm glad.
talking
I'm just glad I don't have my camera on.
we're talking about a person that we do have instances in which there are people, like a person that has a person that is brain dead, a person that is in a coma. They do not have the ability to rationalize. They don't have that ability. A person that has Alzheimer's, a person that is born with severe mental defects like Edwards syndrome, like Lesch-Nyhan syndrome. They do not have the ability to rationalize. So I've just given you 5 or 6 different examples.
Okay, perfect. Let's choose one. Let's say somebody who is brain dead. Or
no, let's go with somebody with Edwards syndrome.
Christians would agree with any of this that you're saying? Do you think
so many examples?
Do you think Christians would agree? This
Yeah.
isn't even the Christian position.
No, we're gonna take. Hang on. We're going to take Edwards syndrome because that is an example of a baby born with the inability to rationalize, and they will never have the ability to rationalize.
What is Edwards syndrome? What is Edwards syndrome?
It's trisomy 18. It's a condition in which it's a baby that is born without sight, without hearing, and they're usually what happens is that their nerves are like constantly on fire. They're in constant pain, and they won't ever be able to talk. They have and their brain development is their brain will almost never develop past the age of, if they make it to, like, there's been rare cases where they've made it to 10 years old and their brain doesn't develop past that of like a 3-month-old. So that so they have no ability to rationalize.
Okay, perfect. These people with the syndrome, they don't have the capacity to rationalize, so therefore they cannot rationalize. Okay, perfect. What's the contradiction?
I didn't say there was a contradiction.
So it's possible for them to rationalize?
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
This is just...
If there's no contradiction, is it possible?
I did not say there was a contradiction. We're still trying to flesh out the P1.
If there's no contradiction, then this is what you're not understanding. If there's no contradiction, then it's possible, meaning there's a capacity.
When did I state the words, there's a contradiction?
I'm saying that's what you would
When did I state the words, there's a contradiction?
That would be a logical entailment.
When did I state the words, there's a contradiction? When did I state that?
You don't have to entail it.
When did I state the words, there's a contradiction?
You don't have to.
Is that an answer to my question?
You don't have
Where did I state? Okay, we got 4 minutes left, bud. So we're just wasting time here.
You said it's not possible.
Yes or no? Did yes or no?
Yes,
did I say there's a?
Yes.
I did state a contradiction, and when?
Not directly though. Indirectly.
Okay, that's not what I asked. Did I state the words, there's a contradiction? Yes or no?
Indirectly.
That's not an answer to the question. I'll ask it again. I'm going to keep asking until you answer it.
The exact words, no, but you stated it indirectly.
Perfect. There you go. So you're a mind reader then. Is that what you're trying to tell me? You're a mind reader?
No, you just said it indirectly.
Are you trying to tell me that you're a mind reader?
No, if I say A is the case, then I'm indirectly saying
so I'm not a mind reader. You're not a mind reader, and I didn't say the words. So nobody has said there's a contradiction yet, because we don't know what the fuck your argument is yet, because it's totally incoherent so far. We're still trying to figure it out.
Wait, so if I said A is the case, am I not indirectly saying that the opposite of A is not the case? Am I not indirectly saying that?
I'm not even tracking that. What I'm trying to get to
oh my gosh.
is we're still trying to flesh out particulars and universals, therefore God exists. And we're way off track on this rationality. We already demonstrated to you that not all humans have the capacity for rationality. We already demonstrated that to you.
So it's not possible for humans to for some humans to have rationality.
Okay, this guy's not tracking. Redhead, did I say that?
You just said they don't have capacity. You just said, so if they don't have capacity, it's not possible.
This is like I think we're like experiencing real time, like the puppy that could from like Billy Madison.
You literally just said people Alzheimer's don't have the capacity to. So if they don't have the capacity to, it's not possible.
No.
Capacity is possibility.
Yeah. They don't have the possibility. They don't have the capacity.
Okay, so if there's no possibility,
people with Edwards syndrome,
way you could disprove it. If they don't have the possibility, that means a contradiction. So I asked for the contradiction.
Okay.
And you said there's no contradiction.
I did not say there was no contradiction. Oh my God, this guy is not tracking. All right, your time's up. So
it's all right, low tier.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Low tier. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
he just yeah.
You keep saying that.
Yeah.
I think everyone in the audience is now dumber having listened to your ass.
That was painful. You know, it's funny because like it's usually the first person who comes up, it's a Phil bro. That's usually what happens. So that's how I know. It was a Phil bro. Wow. Theory Elmer, are you a little bit dumber after that conversation?
A little bit. It's taking me a while to get my reason back. Just a heads up, the goal was filled. The kick pole goal was filled.
Okay.
So I think Elizabeth did fill it. So if she could get a coupon for
Oh, absolutely. Elizabeth, you get a coupon. So we have 2 coupons in the live today. So Redhead has hers that she's held on to like Kung Fu grip, right? And now Elizabeth has one. So we potentially have 2.
Both Elizabeth.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah,
2 Elizabeths, 2
have it.
coupons.
Yes.
That's amazing.
2 Elizabeths.
Love it. All right. That's cool. So I actually set, because I smelled Philbro, so I set it at 15 minutes, like right out of the gate.
Honestly, yes, that was for the best, and I think that helped all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the thing. Philbros get half the time. That's the unspoken rule. So if I smell Philbro, it just gets cut in half, just like that. Because
that's so fair.
Yeah, just
I
low
die
tolerance
inside a little bit when people come at me with P1s and P2s and
yeah.
breaking it down like that. Like I just like, oh my God, this is gonna be so insufferable.
Yeah, and the P1 was just out of the gate was just
their argument wasn't even like Christian.
No, wasn't.
Like that wasn't Christian at all.
Oh yeah,
you
no.
have to be rational to be human. Like that's not biblical.
I know, right? And then the other part was, that's the other thing is like, okay, so what if, even if C was true, even if the conclusion was true, now it's like, okay, which of the thousands of gods are you talking about now? Because you've just demonstrated that a God is real, but which one now? So
wild.
Yeah.
I've just never heard a Christian try to make that argument. Like you have to be rational. Like if anything, they're, I mean, that's an argument for abortion then.
Yeah, pretty much.
You just said that you're pro-choice.
Pretty much.
So W pro-choice.
W pro-choice, exactly. So do you have an announcement for us, Ember?
Yes, I do. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Trust But Verifies Live. We have 115 people in here already, which is amazing. We are happy to see you. In this live, you will experience mostly calm conversations where the spice level is about a green pepper. We do get up to poblano sometimes. Very rarely we get up to like habanero levels. But if you keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times, we will arrive safely back to sweet green bell pepper levels. If you haven't yet, please send your daily heart me's and do your goals. If you long tap the screen, you'll see that there's a place to repost and share the live more easily. And we have 7.6K likes. If we could get up to 20K soon, that would be great. We have 98 shares. Let's see if we can get up to 125.
That's fantastic.
That would be great. I think it's awesome. We already have all of this interaction this early in the live, but if we could just keep it going, keep it steady, that would be amazing. And if you are looking to support Trust in a more tangible way, or more what's the word? Oh goodness. Oh my goodness. And more of like a pattern. I can't even think of the word.
See, it's that conversation. That's what happened.
Yeah, really, I cannot reason. In a recurring way, there are different memberships. There are different memberships on here, on YouTube and Twitch. So go look at those, see what works for you. And it would be awesome if he could go full time, just because he does a really great job talking to people. So if you are able to, go ahead and do that. So the platforms he's on are in here, YouTube and Twitch. And we also have a Discord. If you look at the bio, if at Trust bio, you can, man, my words are just not coming out right today. If you look at
combo,
Trust bio, I know. You'll see that the Discord link is there, but you'll want to copy it into your web browser in order to actually be able to access it. If you have any issues getting into the server, just let one of us mods know and we'll be happy to help you. One last mod announcement. Please no preaching, praying for non-believers, or being rude in the chat. Please don't use caps lock either. We use that as mods to communicate with the chat and with Trust, so we appreciate your help in keeping the chat clear. Once again, welcome to Trust But Verifies Live. We are glad to see you.
Thanks, Ember. That's so awesome.
My
You
pleasure.
are amazing.
Good job, Ember.
Good job.
Thank you.
Right
It was
on.
rough.
They're awesome.
My brain is not working very well.
That's okay. You powered through it. So
thank you. I will drop down.
Perfect. And I would just add to that like I can guarantee the spicy, like I'm here, so the spicy level can just get what it is.
Yeah, the spicy level can get what it is. Exactly.
Yeah, I can just
no,
be
it's
what
okay.
it is. Like,
I'll get to Ghost Pepper if I need to, man. Carolina Reaper, let's go.
Yeah,
I'm
Carolina
good.
Reaper.
Yeah.
Freaking volcano.
Exactly.
Like I don't care.
Yeah, I'm good with it. I'm good with the temperature of the sun. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
I got no worries about that. Yeah. All right. Well, we have another guest in the queue, and let's bring him up. So this is Hutu. It's a returning guest. All right. Hutu, how's it going? Welcome back.
Hey, good man. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for coming back. So
Yeah,
we were on the Bible guy last time.
together. Really?
Yeah,
okay.
we were just breaking down the Gospel of John. So.
Okay. Well, I know last time that you and I were on, we were breaking down the Gospel of Matthew. So you've been kind of making your rounds. Right. Yeah. So what you got in your mind today?
Yeah, we were talking about the law and the prophets in Matthew 5.
Yes.
And I remember we kind of got to a point where you were asking me about verse 19, where it talks
18.
about whoever breaks. Oh, yeah, 18. And then 19 is kind of where we ended on, talking about, therefore, whoever breaks one of the least of these commandments and teaches others to do the same will be called least in the kingdom of heaven.
Yep.
And I guess you were kind of asking me, does that mean if I'm breaking the old covenant law now, that I would be considered least in the kingdom of heaven? And I guess the easy answer is no. Jesus was talking to these people who were still under the old covenant. He had not been crucified yet. Nothing had been accomplished or fulfilled in the sense of the old covenant no longer being binding. The new covenant had not taken place yet. So yeah, he was speaking to these people saying, if you break these commandments, these are permanent, right? It says, till heaven and earth and pass away. These are permanent things, not going away until what I've come to do has been accomplished, which hadn't happened yet. So I think that's the easy answer for why, no, I don't expect to be one of the least in the kingdom of heaven, because I'm not breaking old covenant commandments that I'm bound to. This was speaking to the people in that time before the new covenant had been set.
All right. Well, we have trouble here, so I'm going to let you take over and do your thing.
So Hutu, like you say, like I would ask you, like you would affirm the 10 Commandments?
Yeah, of course.
Really? So women are property to you?
No, I don't necessarily believe women are property.
We're listed amongst property as property. Our house is property.
Which commandment?
Our donkey is property.
Which commandment are we?
Because we're the 10 Commandments. We can go to Exodus 20, or we can look through.
Yeah, just tell me where to go.
I mean, as far as being property.
Exodus, let's do Exodus chapter 20.
Oops, sorry, I bumped the mic. My bad. Exodus 20?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Exodus 20. The whole 20 or a specific chapter?
We're going to go to the 10 Commandments.
Okay.
There it is right there. Scroll down a little bit.
All right.
We're going to go to like probably verse...
What is it?
12 or 13.
12? We'll just start at 12 and like 30. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You're because you're really focused on the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Is that good?
Yeah. In verse 17, You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, male or female slave, ox, donkey, or anything else that belongs to your neighbor. All those things are property.
Sure, yeah. I would also say that the husband belongs to the wife in that sense.
The 10 Commandments don't care about the wife's ownership over the husband.
Do we have something in the Old Testament that says that the husband belongs to the wife?
There's nothing that gives there's nothing in the Old Testament that gives a woman authority over their husband.
Yeah, I would agree with you, but them being one flesh, they belong to each other in that sense.
Okay, and was that the case when this was written?
A man and a woman leaving their father and mother and becoming one flesh?
Yeah, when the 10 Commandments were written, was that in effect?
Let's see.
Yeah, what verse?
Was. I don't see anything that would well, what I'm referring to is in Genesis 2.
Genesis 2.
Yeah, I'm not sure what verse. Let me pull up Genesis.
I would argue that the one flesh thing
24.
doesn't.
Yeah,
That's just about reproducing. It has nothing to do with like a woman's rights.
It has to do with marriage, and so I don't know which. You probably like the NRSV. Therefore, a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. So, the idea of being one flesh doesn't at all lead me to believe that one person owns the other as property. I believe they belong to each other in the covenant that they've made between each other, since they are now joined as one flesh. So,
Are
yeah.
you telling me there is no distinction between male and female when it came to property? Yeah, you know that there's verses within like Deuteronomy and Leviticus and stuff that basically grant the ability to sell your daughters like as a slave.
Okay, how does that have to do with the man owning his wife?
Because it's not the case. Like they don't sell their sons; they sell their daughters.
Sorry, no. I asked, how does that have to do with a man owning his wife as property if he sells?
Because women are property in the Old Testament.
Okay, so you're trying to make a blanket statement that women are.
I'm just saying, like, are you you're okay with the misogyny there? Like, that's just perfectly okay with you? Like the.
Hold on, I was going to ask you
that men owning women. You think that's a good thing?
Hold on, I was going to ask a question. So you're trying to make a blanket statement that says women are property all throughout the Old Testament. So that means,
well, I mean, that was even in the New Testament times too. Yeah, it doesn't stop there.
Hold on, I almost got done talking. So that means that a man owns his wife as property even though they are one?
Do we need to go like they're not one. It's referring to sex. Becoming one flesh is referring to sex. It has nothing to do with marriage and them being equal partners.
It actually does.
It doesn't
for you, but just before we get too far, are we just ditching Matthew 5? Did we concede that point? Or?
No, we're not conceding it. I think we're trying to get to the roundabout of if Jesus said to follow the laws.
You affirmed. I asked you if you affirmed the 10 Commandments.
Hold on.
That's the context of what
which
we're
is part of the
about.
law, right?
And then we started, going down that because this bothers me.
I'm sorry, host. I missed the last part of what you're saying.
The reason why, if I'm hearing you right, Trouble, the reason why you asked about that is because Matthew 5 does talk about the prophets and the law, which is what we started with. 10 Commandments is part of the law, and so you're picking out a specific instance and to test and see if that is the case. Am I right or wrong about that?
Yeah, I'm a little confused on that too.
I think that's the case. Did we lose her? You still there? I think we might have lost her.
Yeah, I'm a little lost, to be honest. We went Matthew 5 to women
Yeah.
or their husband's
Yeah.
property. And then
She was pulling.
she brought up
She
like
was pulling up the
selling
10
your
Commandments.
daughters.
Well, yeah, she
Selling
was
your
pulling
daughters.
up the 10
I
Commandments.
asked you if
There we
you
go.
affirm the 10 Commandments, and you said yes. And then my whole thing was, do you think women are property?
Well, my
And then
first
it seems to
question.
be the case that you did not realize that women are listed among property
Well, my first
as
question.
property.
My first question that I don't think you ever answered is, which commandment are you referring to? You said coveting your. Which commandment?
You shall not covet. 17, verse 17. It's on the screen.
Okay, so yeah, you should not. The definition of covet is yearn to possess. You should not yearn to possess someone else's wife. That's true. That would be adultery. How does that have to do with selling your daughters as slaves or men owning women as property? You should not
Because
want
it's
someone else's wife.
reaffirmed throughout Deuteronomy and Leviticus.
So I believe that commandment, you should not want someone else's wife. Is there a problem with that? Let's take it one by one. I affirm that commandment. You should not yearn to possess somebody else's wife. True fact. Do you disagree?
My point is not about the adultery aspect as much as it is we are listed among property items. And then it's reaffirmed throughout Deuteronomy and Leviticus that women are property.
So, you shall not covet your neighbor's house. Okay. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife. Yep, I agree. You should not want anyone else's wife to be yourself.
And did you notice the slavery too? Like that was kind of the next thing. Like
Yeah,
you know,
you shall
male
not
or
want.
female slave. Like you, so you affirm slavery. You think slavery is a good thing,
It says you shall not covet male or female slave.
right? Like the word slave doesn't sting your ears a little bit.
I know what that means. It's saying you shall not want your neighbor's house. You shall not want your neighbor's wife, male or slave. You shall not want your neighbor's slaves. I
Right.
agree
And
with that.
you agree not wanting people's slaves. So you affirm slavery then. Like slavery is just fine with you.
Slavery in the Old Testament sense, what there's a couple different types. Which one are you talking about?
How about well, there's several types because when you're a Hebrew slave, like you like as a woman, you're a slave forever. Men get to go free like after 7 years. That's the indentured servant law. Like that you probably wanting to point to. That was only for the Hebrews. Anybody else, they were able to enslave their neighbors that weren't Jews.
So
And that was forever.
I guess host.
And that is chattel slavery.
Host. I guess if you're cool with this, we're ditching. Is the old covenant still binding, and is slavery, like we're jumping into, is slavery okay? We're going into that conversation.
Well, yeah, that's part of the old covenant, right?
Right.
We were talking about the 10 Commandments. Oh my God. I asked you,
Yeah,
do you affirm the 10 Commandments?
Yes, and owning slaves is not part of the 10 Commandments. It's part of the old covenant law.
And I think she's trying to establish.
It never stopped. Like they could still own slaves in the New Testament.
What?
Yeah. Slavery didn't end until, do you know history? Like, when slavery ended, correct? Like it's only been like Christians have used these laws to keep slaves for forever. It's only within the last couple hundred years that changes have been made in that regard.
Yeah, I guess the question, Hutu, is when it says in the New Testament, slaves obey your masters. Are you saying that there wasn't slavery in the New Testament?
No, that there was slavery happening.
Okay. All right. So, okay, we've established that there's slavery. So what she's trying to get out of you is, if there's slavery in the New Testament, there's slavery in the Old Covenant law, then she's asking if you affirm slavery. And now I think you've said no a couple times. And so I think what I'm seeing, and you can verify this, Trouble, is that there seems to be a disconnect here, because if you're telling us that no, slavery wasn't affirmed, I don't affirm slavery, but there's slavery in the New Testament, there's slavery in the Old Testament, and so if this is still under the covenant, I think the question is this New Covenant or Old Covenant?
New Covenant.
So there was slavery in the New Covenant.
Yeah. Nowhere in the New Testament does it explicitly forbid chattel slavery.
Correct. That is correct.
Do you think that would have been a good thing, like a good time, like if Christians are this epitome of moral values?
Ooh, epitome. I like that word.
Here's what is forbidden in the New Testament is oppression, which I think it would be very, very hard to own a slave without oppressing them. To be clear, I think most forms of slavery that we have studied and we've seen in America, for example, are 100% oppressing another human being. Now, there are regulations for slavery, and so within those regulations, if followed correctly, which includes not oppressing someone, there is really nothing that explicitly says slavery is immoral.
Okay. So are you saying then that to own a human being is not immoral if done within certain conditions?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that that's immoral.
Did you know it was okay to beat your slave in the Bible?
Oh,
you could beat them. You could beat them until and as long as they don't die after 3 days, you're good. But you can beat the shit out of them until they're,
So
if they're being disobedient. You think that's cool?
We're back in the New Testament. We're going back to the Old Testament now. You gotta.
Well, doesn't Timothy say that all scriptures, God breathed and useful for teaching and rebuking?
Yeah, but we're not bound.
Okay, how would that be used then? In the context of slavery, you're in the New Testament era. Okay, let's say you're a 2nd century Christian slave owner, and how are you going to interpret that Old Testament passage? Is that all of a sudden just not going to apply anymore? Or
I'm going to interpret it by saying we are no longer bound to the Old Covenant law.
Okay.
Like we originally started talking about. Host, I'm sorry.
So,
this is kind of insufferable, to be honest, following her from Old Testament to New Testament.
Okay. So, well, I think
just quoted you said, how did it pertain to the New Testament? I just asked you, I just brought up a New Testament passage and asked you how that would apply to the slave issue.
I'm sorry. Host, I didn't hear what you're saying. She interrupted again.
She said that she brought up Timothy, in which it says all scripture is God-breathed and useful for teaching. And so she's asking you if how that applies to what you're saying about New Covenant versus Old Covenant. So I think we're just trying to get some clarity here.
Yeah. So I would say that 2 Timothy 3:16 is correct. All scripture is God-breathed. That includes the Old Testament and the New Testament. Now, although the Old Testament and the Old Covenant law is God's word, it's very clear that we are no longer bound to the Old Covenant law. So
I disagree with that. And I think we both disagree with that.
Right, which is why we were talking about Matthew 5, and I don't know how she ended up on.
Well, because we're using that as an example.
I think the early church had a very different interpretation of what
that's
the law was.
My whole point is, you're right, host. That's what we disagree on, and that's Matthew 5, which is why I thought we were coming back to talk about that. But it kind of got hijacked, to be honest.
All right. So, I think let's engage with what Redhead here is saying. So, Redhead, you're saying that because you're bringing up this issue of slavery. We see it clearly in the New Testament. We see it clearly in the Old Testament. But you're saying under the New Covenant, there's different rules for slavery. And what rules are they under the New Covenant?
Well, the first point I made was not just for slavery, but for treating human beings in general. It is wrong to oppress them. So I'll pull up a definition of that for us, and then we can maybe agree on one and work with it.
Okay, because let's look up oppression, and because I think I want to kind of get back to what you were saying about ownership of a human being is not oppression.
No, not necessarily. We'll work towards that, but so the definition of oppression is prolonged, cruel, or unjust treatment or control.
Okay,
So anything that's unjust towards another human being, right? Controlling them.
So owning a human being is just in certain circumstances?
I don't think that owning a human being, if you did not commit any sins within that, I don't think it would be immoral.
Okay, so just the fact of owning a human being alone, you're saying that's not unjust. Owning a human being alone.
There's nothing in scripture that forbids owning a human being, saying that it would be immoral.
Okay, what moral principle justifies owning a human being?
Well, I believe morals are from God and based on what God has told us. So if he has told us how to treat a human being and how to not treat a human being, as long as you are following those commands from God, you are living. I don't think that answers
my question. My question was, what moral principle justifies owning a human being? Like, name the moral principle.
I think it's about not being immoral. Something being moral.
What principle? What principle is that?
Let me see. I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you are not doing something immoral.
Yeah, what's the moral principle that allows owning human beings?
I don't know that I would say that there's a specific moral principle that says you can allow human beings.
Then how can you call it? How can you call it? Because it sounds like, are you saying it's morally neutral? Is it moral, immoral, or neutral?
I'm saying it's not immoral to do something unless God has told us it is immoral.
Okay, so it's not immoral to own a human being all by itself because God has not told us you can't own a human being.
Yeah. 1 Timothy 1:8 says that the law is good.
Yeah.
Okay.
That has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but that's awesome.
It has everything to do with what we're talking about. What do you mean? We're talking about the law, and the law includes owning people, and we're saying that that's awful, and you're saying that the law is good.
Yeah,
and I say the law sucks.
That's awful. That's very much immoral. I mean, so are you, because I think I need an answer out of you. Are you saying it's morally neutral? Like it's neither moral nor immoral because God did not say it's immoral?
Sure. Yeah, I'm okay with that for the sake of this conversation.
It's morally neutral. Okay. And simply because God did not command it. Either way.
And also seeing that God did give us regulations for slavery and didn't just abolish slavery.
Got it.
He could have gotten rid of it completely.
Okay.
That would have made me think it's immoral.
Okay.
The fact that he didn't and he gave regulations for it makes it seem more morally neutral in that sense.
If God told you to go to Canada, as it says in Leviticus 25:44, to go to another nation and acquire a slave, would that be the right or the wrong thing to do?
Well, I hold to divine command theory, so I believe anything God commanded me to do would be morally good for me to obey.
Wow. So if God commanded you to like kill babies and put them in a baby paste blender and then put them in baby paste tubes, so you do it?
I mean, that's an awesome deconstruction zone, Rip. But no,
of course, Justin's a friend.
I don't believe God would command me to do that. But if he did, like he did command people to do that in the Old Covenant, it would be just to obey him.
It would be just to obey him?
Anything God commands, it would be good for a human to obey.
And what moral principle does that fall under?
You're horrifying. Who too?
My entire moral framework is divine command theory. So those are
that's disgusting.
That's a moral principle, divine command theory?
Yes. I mean, I would say that it's definitely a.
Yeah, I think morality comes from God, and divine command being from God is the framework for morality.
All right. Well,
that's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna end the conversation here. But hey, I appreciate you coming up.
Yeah. Next time, maybe you and I can just talk.
All right. See ya.
See ya.
No, I don't think we're gonna.
That's fucking disgusting. That was fucking that is disgusting.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever.
Divine command theory is fucking awful.
It's never a good idea to own
terrorism.
People. Yeah,
like it's why you have radical terrorism in the world is divine command theory.
It's never a good idea to own people.
Awful.
Yeah, I don't think
I would
that's
love to have gone to the
neutral.
Hyman passage too with them, but he wanted to like focus on we were gonna discuss like Matthew. What was it? Matthew 5:17.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we started at Matthew 5:17 the other day. He and I did, and I know he wanted to continue that conversation, but
the law and the prophets. Well,
just,
that's. I mean, Jesus affirms the law. That's what that passage.
That's what that law
is,
says. Yeah,
right after the Beatitudes.
Yeah, he was trying to tell me that it didn't affirm the law. That he was trying to say that fulfilling the law did not mean actually following the law for Jesus. That fulfilling it meant that we no longer have to follow the law. And to which I said, well, if you obey the speed limit, are you abolishing the law or fulfilling the law? She agreed. I'm fulfilling the law. Okay. So if you're fulfilling the law when you follow the speed limit, that means you fulfill the law when you follow the law, right? No, but it meant something different with Jesus. Okay, show me. And
that's like here's the thing is that's like you're projecting a lot, like to make that passage work the way you want it, you're having to do a typology with Pauline thinking.
Exactly.
Like Pauline, you're treating the New Testament as a univocal text, and you're not leaving it in the context. Like that's, you're making a pretext at that point.
Yeah.
When you move something from its context and make it a pretext, it happens most generally in error, because you're just gonna completely. It's not how you do hermeneutics. I'm sorry.
Yeah. In other words, cope.
Exactly.
Because it's just the way.
The New Testament is not. I mean, you don't really have. People need to understand, especially like Christians in the audience. They need to understand that the New Testament isn't just this univocal text together. It wasn't even together until almost the 4th century.
Yeah.
That you have the New Testament that we have in our Bibles today.
Exactly. Oh, could you, just as a little bit of a side note here, could you explain to us why how you know all this stuff?
Oh yeah, sure. I got my degree in biblical studies.
There it is.
So I'm in school for this stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That's amazing. So, yeah. So you know your stuff. You know this. Yeah. And so that's,
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So you would agree then that Matthew 5, when Jesus says in Matthew 5, I have not come to abolish, but to fulfill.
To fulfill. I mean, that's a very Jewish thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a very, like, Jews would use this term all the time, like fulfilling the law is just like this isn't some special like thing that Jesus all of a sudden gets to claim.
Right. Because there's
throughout all of Judaism.
Yeah.
Because that was a common Jewish phrase, to fulfill the law.
Yeah. So because it's fulfilling the law means follow it. Hey, Godwin, how are you?
Hey, good, TBV. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's good to hear from you.
Yeah, it's good to see you. Thanks for having me up. I'm just commuting, and I overheard what you were talking about. I thought of a new approach on the whole fulfill thing. Mm-hmm. It means that Jesus isn't going to break the law.
Right.
Invert it, Mm-hmm. So it means he's never going to break it. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
That's my take. That's my
Yeah, that's another way to look at it. Oh yeah.
It says until it has, and you have to ask the question too, like, has heaven and earth passed away?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Right. No, and it says not one letter, not one stroke, not any of it will
go away
pass in the law
until all is accomplished, which means his second coming, or actually his third coming. But
right, because in in the future kingdom, the law will be a part of the future kingdom. A lot of the, but that's again.
Was Hutu trying to change that story? Was he trying to
he was just trying to say we don't have to follow the old laws anymore simply because it says Jesus fulfilled the laws. And
I think it becomes very problematic altogether, because you're gonna, like, Hebrews. We don't even know the author of Hebrews, and that's where you get that concept is from Pauline literature and from like
absolutely.
Hebrews.
Yeah, I think he was saying he fulfilled it, fulfilled his past tense. He came to fulfill, meaning present tense. Like he came to do what's right in Yahweh's eyes.
Yeah, well,
do you know what I mean? So don't let him do that inversion.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, regardless. Well, see, that's the thing, is it totally invalidates the rest of the passage, because you have
to project the Pauline theology and typologize that passage with Pauline theology for that to get that meaning from
and
it.
Then 18 to 20 just completely goes away, which doesn't make any sense, because that makes it nonsensical at that point. if you try to inject that in. So
Right.
you have to take, because you have to take it
and
in
Paul never read
context.
any of that.
Right. So if you take it in context, it makes a lot of sense. It makes total sense. And also,
So what were those verses again, TBV? 18 through what?
17 through 20. Matthew chapter 5, verses 17 through 20.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
That's like the Beatitudes.
Right after the Beatitudes.
Right after the Beatitudes, yeah.
I stopped your thought. I'm sorry, TBV.
Oh, no.
You were thinking?
I was just affirming what Redhead was saying, but yeah, it's right after the Beatitudes. But like I said, if you take all that in context, it clearly says you have to follow all of the laws. Jesus wasn't wiping out any laws right there. There was no intention to be sure,
a lot of the Pauline stuff was not circulated. Like even when they were circulating these stuffs in the church before, like the 4th century, when like you got the Romans taking over and basically being responsible for creating the first Bibles.
Exactly.
Before they were just letters, and Matthew would be independent, so you cannot just Matthew has to stay within its context, and it's a lot of special pleading and typology.
And yeah, as you know, they all came out at different times too. So Matthew came out really late. I don't know.
It was a lot later.
Mark
it was
like
a lot
50,
later.
40 to 60.
Yeah. All right, we have somebody
so
in.
Paul never read it. All right, take care, guys. Thanks.
Paul was dead.
I'll drop down.
All right, thanks, Godwin. All right, we have somebody in our YouTube queue.
Or if you're Jaron, if you take the mythicist position, Paul never existed. So.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Because our earliest text of Pauline literature is P46, and that is like dated between like 175 CE and like 225 CE.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. I'm just trying to get a name out of the guest here. Or what do you want to be called? So yeah, Jess, just pending guest. Just give us a name or who you want to be referred as, or what you want to be referred as, and then I'll bring you up. So I just sent that in the message. So just type that in, pending YouTube guest. I see you. And, but yeah, you're absolutely right about that. Absolutely right. Or maybe we'll just bring them up and we'll just kind of work all that out as we get up. Mario. Okay. So we're going to bring up Mario from the YouTube side. Okay. Give me 1 sec, Mario. We're almost there. Okay. One more step. Okay, Mario, how you doing?
Hola, how are you?
Can you hear us, Mario? We can't hear you.
I can't hear them.
You there, Mario?
I hear your echo.
Yeah, I hear my echo. Yeah, it's weird. Now I'm starting to get an echo. So let me see if I can take care of that. You there, Mario? Okay, hang tight, Mario. How about now, Mario? Okay. We can't hear you, Mario. No, we can't hear you.
To answer somebody in the chat, no, I used to be a believer. I was going to be a missionary at one time. I deconstructed, towards the end of my schooling, though.
Hey, why don't you try reconnecting back? Oh, wait. Hold on. Oh, yeah, try connecting again.
I walked away for about a year after I left the church.
All right, try connecting again, Mario. I'm going to bring up another guest. All right, let's bring up somebody from the TikTok queue. How's it going, GA?
Hi, my Brother, how are you? Please, 5 minutes. You from Syria need help. 5 minutes, please.
Oh.
What about now?
You from Syria need help.
This is panhandling.
5 minutes, please.
Okay. GA,
We love you.
how old are you?
We're here for debates.
You from Syria and need help for eat my family, my brother.
What? I can't. I'm having a hard time understanding you.
This is like international panhandling. They're wanting to donate.
Syria, from Syria.
Okay, you're from Syria? Okay. All right. How old are you?
Yes.
How old are you from Syria, GA?
I'm good. How are you, my brother?
I'm doing well. How old are you?
Yes. I show my house.
Okay. I think you might be in the wrong channel. We're here to talk about if your God is real or not.
Please, my brother, everyone give it GA from Syria. I need help for eat my family.
Oh, okay. Well, this isn't the right place for that. So come back. Yeah. So let's try another place. Okay. All right. Let's bring back Mario again. We're going to try you again, Mario. Yeah, I can hear you, but nobody else can. So okay. Hang tight, Mario. 1 sec. Okay. Let's try it again. Okay. Let's give Mario another try. And hopefully I don't, okay. All right. How's it going, Mario? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Oh, fantastic.
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for asking. All right. Glad you're here. Okay. Mario, how old are you?
I'm 28.
28? Okay, fantastic.
You got it.
Yeah, you just got to be over 18.
Great.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, and which God do you believe in? The God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran?
Well, of course, the Bible.
Okay. All right.
God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob.
Fantastic. All right.
Yeah.
What's your best evidence that God is real?
Well, first and foremost, I'm not here to prove or disprove necessarily that. I was more about I was just wanted to focus on what you like, kind of my perspective on, I guess, God and the way that you guys were talking about like slavery and all that.
Mm-hmm.
With God and free will, obviously, the only way for him to be able to remove something like that out of, humans just trying to do the absolute worst things is basically manipulation. That wouldn't be free will. So the only way for him to be able to counteract that would be applying laws that would sooner or later break down those institutions, such as like with Jesus Christ. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, you wouldn't want a God who's going to just say, hey, slavery is bad. You guys are now controlled to not do that, because that would in turn be slavery and hypocritical.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Is there slavery in heaven?
Define slavery, though.
Okay, well, you define slavery because you're the one that brought it up. So
I would say that it's someone.
How about the slavery that you were?
Their will.
Okay, so is this the same slavery that you were just talking about, like 40 seconds ago? Okay,
I'm asking for your definition so we can meet at the same.
Yeah, I'll take that definition. That's fine. Yeah, I'll take your definition. Okay. So is that form of slavery done in heaven?
No.
No. Okay. Is there free will in heaven?
There's no need for free will in heaven.
That's not what I asked. Is there free will in heaven?
No.
No, there's no free will in heaven.
But that's more for a lack of existence. It's not because there's no free will, as in there's no will. That's like saying, if there's no air in a room,
why is there no free will in heaven?
In the room.
Yeah. Why is there no free will in heaven?
Why would anyone need a will if we're all in God's kingdom?
Yeah. Okay.
And living eternal life. What will do you need at that point? You're living God's will.
Okay. So you're saying there's
and God is good.
There's no free hold on. There's no free will because it's not needed there?
Exactly.
Why is it not needed there?
What do you need to will?
Okay.
If you have everything, what do you need to will?
You have everything. So we could have done this. Thank you.
I'm saying, if you're like, okay, imagine a utopia. Mm-hmm. The biggest problem with utopias and perfect societies is the fact that people will end up being bored or something, right? Mm-hmm. Because there's no conflict or whatever. Same concept there. There's no will, because that would in turn cause that to happen. It's not the same. You don't have the same desires. You don't have the same. You don't fall into sin. It's all out the window at that point,
Okay.
because you're free. You're free from that.
Okay, so God could have so God could have made it this way, that way down here, or here on earth, but chose not to, right?
Right, because then again, that would be slavery, or basically he would have to control every person's entire will to get them to that point.
Yeah.
You choose whether to be with God or not. Because here's the thing: heaven is with God, hell and purgatory, you're separated.
Okay,
from God.
so what I'm trying to understand, hold on, Mario. What I'm trying to understand is, then why didn't God make it this way that it is in heaven?
Would it be real? It's like faking love. I mean, if I have someone next to me,
okay,
I'm forcing them to tell me, you love me.
So heaven isn't real?
That's not real love.
Well, I don't understand that. Heaven isn't real? It's not, people don't really love God?
Listen to what I'm saying.
This doesn't make sense.
People into heaven, if you force people into heaven, right? Does it actually become, that's not love. Again, that's not love. You have to make sure that they have the journey to make it to heaven.
Is God all knowing?
Yes. Yes, he is.
God is all knowing. So does God, has God known eternally what's in my heart and mind?
Well, if you're talking about eternity, right?
Yeah,
that's
throughout eternity,
limits of space and time. So that wouldn't apply to you, would it?
Okay, so
you're a temporal being asking for an intemporal.
Did God know eternally that he was going to create me?
You were created eternally. That's how it works. If you were
did God know eternally? Yeah. So when did I become a thought in God's head?
When did you become? Do you hear what you're saying?
Yeah.
He's an eternal being. You can't ask when.
I didn't ask if I was an eternal being. I asked when.
No, not you. Him. He's an eternal being.
Okay.
You can't ask when to an eternal being.
Okay.
That doesn't make sense. That question is flawed.
Okay. So so eternally I was in God's mind, right?
I'm going to follow you here, but remember what I'm saying. You cannot ask a temporal question to it's outside the limits of space and time. But yes, go ahead.
I asked you eternally. I have been in God's mind eternally. Right? Because you can't have it both ways. You can't declare God as eternal and then okay. So
no, I'm not having it both ways. I'm not having it both ways.
You said you can't ask a temporal question, but I asked you eternally if I was in God's mind. So that means eternally God has always known what's in my mind and heart, right? God always knew I would be this way.
You're saying always, as if there
eternally.
Was a
God eternally.
Eternally is outside of that. He exists outside of time. He doesn't need us.
Okay, God eternally knew I would be this way. Correct?
Do you have free will? Yes or no?
Okay, you're dodging my question. God eternally knew I would be this way.
I'm not
correct?
dodging your question. I know the line of logic you're going to
follow. It's a yes or no. Then answer. You have no fucking idea where I'm going with this, Mario.
Did God make me sin? Did God make me?
You didn't. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know which way I'm going with this. You have no idea where I'm going with this. You are not a mind reader.
I'm going to follow.
All right.
I'm going to be respectful.
So let's just track the questions. So
I'm going to play along.
Okay. So eternally, did God know I was going to be this way?
I cannot answer that question because, again, at the end of the day, you can't say always and eternally in the same sentence. It doesngoing make sense.
I didn't say eternally in the same sentence. I changed it from always to eternally. So I asked you, has God eternally known I'm going to be this way? I am the way that I am.
Right. He knew you since you were created in the womb. Yeah.
He's known me since I was created in the womb. Okay. Fantastic. So.
Okay. Let's go.
Okay, if that's the case,
yep. Don't bring up all.
Does that mean?
Making me a
hold on. Let's not jump ahead. Let's not jump ahead. I don't jump ahead when you talk. All right. So just hold on. Okay. Stay focused. So just stay with me for a second. So what you're telling me then is that I had to be here on earth in order to earn my way into heaven. And God always has known me since I was formed in the womb, right? He's always known what's in my mind and heart since I was formed in the womb. Yet I had to, and so what was the purpose of me being here?
To be a vessel of wrath.
What do you mean?
If God has always known what's in my mind and heart since I was formed in the womb, you just
why did he
affirm
create
that.
Adam? Why do you think?
Okay,
why did he
you're
create
still
Adam?
ducking my question. So
no, because you're trying to it's chicken and the egg. That's what
it's
you're
not
doing.
chicken
Here.
and
That's
the
a
egg.
simple
It's
yes,
not
it
chicken.
is.
Okay, you're still jumping ahead. Okay, so we need to have a we need to have a conversation. You're not responding to anything I'm saying. You're trying to jump ahead, and we're not going to do that. We're going to stay linear. All right. So what I'm asking you is, if God has always known what's in my mind and heart since I was formed in the womb, you agree with that, right? That's true.
No. Let's just move on. Let's not talk about what I agree with right now. Let's just move on with your line of logic here. I want to see where this goes.
Okay. So,
make your
well,
statements.
I need you to agree or disagree.
I'm not going to agree or disagree. I just want to follow your line of logic.
You're not going to agree or disagree? Okay, then
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not here to convert you or anything. God doesn't need you to exist. You need God to exist. So please continue.
Okay. Well, we need you to demonstrate that, and this is part of the demonstration.
No.
If we're going to,
I just want to hear your opinion.
Okay. Well, what are we here for? Because I asked for.
I want to hear your thoughts. I asked for. I want to hear your opinion.
Okay. Do you see what it says above my head?
You're an atheist. What's your best evidence that God is real?
So that is called implied consent. All right. When you come into my live, there's a question up on the board. The implication is that you're going to answer the question. Okay. So coming in here saying, "Hey, I'm not," consent, actually. It's not forced consent.
You're basically roping people into being.
Who forced you to come in here? Who forced you to come in here?
Well, no. I'm saying
who forced you to come in here?
You called us.
Mario. Who forced you to come in here?
Nobody. Well, listen to what I just said. You're allowing people. Dude, if someone allows you into their home and then they don't let you out or control every move that you do inside of their home, that is considered kidnap. That is a crazy thing to do. That's not being.
Oh my God. Are you fucking serious? No, this is no, this is not, that's not what this is at all, Mario.
That's what you just
said. What this is
consent is you opening the door into like a den of whatever.
Yeah. So if I have, and if there's
a freedom to leave anytime you want, sir.
As
a
question like that.
Okay.
I'm literally asking for your opinion.
Yeah.
So that way I can understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. And
how
so
am I gonna just come in here and say, oh, this is not? No. You gotta know
that's
the person
it. Yeah,
first. So
we're international hackers. We hacked your microphone. We kept you. We're holding you hostage. Yep, that's the case.
I mean, what's the first thing under that? It says give respect, get respect.
Yeah.
Come on,
and man. So giving respect means you answer the question. And the question is, what's your best evidence that God is real? So are you saying that you don't have any? Are you saying that you don't have any evidence?
I just want to hear your statements.
Okay.
Why do I have to agree or disagree?
Do you have any evidence that God is real? Yes or no?
Oh my God.
Do you have evidence that God is real? Yes or no?
So you are going to use the question as a crutch, aren't you?
Do you have evidence that God is real?
We're not going to discuss any. Okay, so here we go.
Do you have evidence that God is real?
Yes or no? I'm not going to answer your question because again, at the end.
All right. So.
All right. Bye.
This is okay. It's very simple. All right. If you come into my live and you want to discuss whether or not God is real, have evidence that God is real. That's it. That's very simple. Okay. That's what it says. What's your best evidence that God is real? This is not hard. So if that's what it says, then the implication is you're going to come up here and you're going to answer the question. I mean, that's pretty fucking obvious, right? Is it not obvious? If there's a question up there, I'm just going to assume
you're not going crazy, trust.
You're here to answer the question.
Yes,
I mean,
no, like you're not going crazy.
This is just, it's just that it just, oh my God, just that some people just operate like in their own little world. Like
that's like the first time I've ever like been accused of kidnapping somebody.
Yeah, you're a kidnapper. How about that?
I guess so. Jesus.
We're just here.
I didn't even have to try too. I'm just sitting here in my computer chair and I'm kidnapping.
Well,
people.
Hey, according to Hutu, we're not committing a sin because technically God didn't say you couldn't do it.
That's right. You know, exactly. Like Leviticus. Yeah, I think what is Leviticus 25.
We're not committing any sins.
You can go kidnap your neighbors and make them your slaves.
Yeah.
I guess we were making them our slaves. We were just following the Christian values, just making our neighbors slaves and kidnapping them on our lives.
Exactly. Wow, that was wild. This is wild. We've had some wild guests today, man. Yeah. Man. Pretty feral. Okay. Well, we got free 3 pips who's up, so there must be like an announcement or something. So 3 pips. Something you have to say?
Oh, sorry, that was an accident.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's
Well,
okay. Live long and prosper.
it's a happy accident. Yeah. Live long and prosper. We love 3 pips. So that was interesting. All right. So, okay. So if you are in the guest queue, you have to be at least 18 years old. You have to believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran, and you have to have evidence that God is real. So we're going to be asking for that. If you don't have any evidence that God is real, then please keep swiping. Move on to the next one. All right. So let's move on to the next guest out of the TikTok queue. We have Caliph. How's it going?
Hello. What's
Hi.
going on, host?
Hey,
How are you?
I'm doing well. How old are you?
27.
All right. Fantastic. And which God do you believe in?
Hello, how are you?
I'm well. How are you? I remember actually speaking to you, hosts, like maybe a year and a half ago when I first started TikTok. I hopped on your panel. You were talking about some epistemology. Yeah. So.
Oh, yeah. That was a long time ago. Yeah. No
Yeah.
problem. Yeah. Okay. Well, glad you're back. Okay. So we're looking for, I've kind of streamlined it a little bit. So we're just going to get straight to the crux of the question. So what's your best evidence that God is real?
Yeah. That's a good question. So I'm an Orthodox Christian. Just to set that. My best evidence that God is real is the created order, the intelligent created order that we are a part of. I do not believe this can be done by chance. I believe there is a mind. So if there is a mind, then there must be, a creator of the thing. But that's just one piece. But yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So your best evidence is, if I'm hearing you right, is that you see that a mind had to create all the order that we see. Is that what I'm hearing? Yeah. Okay. Correct. All right. And what is your evidence of that?
Well, creation itself.
Creation itself? How so? Because that just assumes that, things were created, yes. It's just created by what is the question. So then how do we do like a basic of comparison? So how did you compare it to something that wasn't created by God to determine that it was created by God? Like, how do you make the distinguishing? What's the distinguishing factor on something that's not created by God? What are those distinguishing characteristics versus something that is created by God?
What would you categorize as something not created by God?
Something not created by God? A car? Or unless you think God created cars? I don't know. I think it really depends what you think. Yeah.
Yeah, no, every aspect.
Like the grilled cheese sandwich I had for lunch today? I don't think God created that. Of course. Right? So
of course, but you didn't create the components of that cheese, the grilled cheese sandwich.
Okay.
Nor did you create the components of the car. So we have a mind as well that we are able to put together.
Yeah.
That car, right? That's obviously an intelligent design to some degree.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't believe in anything. I don't believe there's a category of things not created by God.
There's a category of things not created by God. Okay. So what are then what are the distinguishing characteristics of something created by God then? I guess that's what I'm trying to understand.
Something that we see and we experience that has intricacy, and
intricacy.
Yeah, like there are things within creation that we would be like we are still unable to fathom and to understand, showing that it is not by chance that this thing came into existence, and certainly if we can't recreate this thing or we can't understand how it was created, then therefore there must be a mind that is higher than our mind that is able to put this thing into existence.
Yeah, how so though? How do you get to that conclusion? Because that seems like a leap. If we can't understand why things are here, then something else another mind must have created it, since we don't understand it. Isn't that an argument from ignorance?
No, not necessarily, because someone, for example, who doesn't understand, let's say, how something in the created order is put together, just like you said, a car, for example, something that we created. Just because someone doesn't understand how this thing is put together, does not necessarily mean that it doesn't have a creator. It has a creator, Just as long as this person understands, is able to understand how this thing is created, then understands that there is a mind.
Okay. So what you're saying then is if there's, just because somebody doesn't understand how a car is created doesn't mean that a mind didn't create it, which I'm inclined to agree with. What I'm trying to understand though is that there are clear characteristics on how we know a car was created. For example, metal alloys, right? So cars have metal alloys, and metal alloys aren't found naturally. So those have to be like created by humans. Things like the tires and things of that sort. We just know those things have to be created by humans because we can observe that. That's something we have observed. So we've never ever observed like a car just occurring naturally, right? Correct. So that's what I'm trying to understand is that there are specific markers or signatures that indicate a car was created by a human. And we have those signatures. So that's why I'm asking for like the signature of a planet. Like, how do you know that God created a planet? Like, what are the signatures indicating to you God created a planet?
Beautiful. So if we go back to the car analogy for a second, I'm giving you evidence, specifically the evidence of an intelligent mind. So when we look at a car motor, for example, we know that this car motor, with all the different aspects to it, all the pieces of metal and all the, springs and everything that is related to it, that's not going to happen and come into existence by chance. There had to have been a mind that created it, put it together, assembled it. That requires intelligence, that requires reason, that requires, these things. So that's what I'm using as analogy for the created order that we are a part of, that we live in. Everything from, science to, to everything in the created
scientists
order.
Don't think things are created by chance, though. Because that would mean, because that would be random. That would mean, completely, totally random, something like that. That's not what scientists believe. So
but scientists aren't even concerned as to why something came into existence. They're concerned about the existence itself,
right,
and how the existence works.
Right. So that's what so we're talking about the why. I agree with that. But what I'm saying is that it seems to be a category area when you say it's done by chance, because no one who knows what they're talking about as far as science goes doesn't think all this was done by chance. No one says that.
I don't believe it. No, I'm not saying it happened by chance. What I'm saying is that when we observe a car motor, for example, or an engine, we know that it didn't happen by chance, and we know for a fact that there is an intelligent mind that put this thing together.
Okay.
Right? So for something that is intricate, I'm saying there must be a mind, an intelligent mind, that put the created order into existence because of its intricacy and because of its whatever, like the way it's designed, the way it works.
But I mean, that's the thing, is that sounds like that's presupposing that it's designed. And because a design also, like with a car, a design has something like blueprints, right? So that's like something that a car has, right? So there are like design blueprints, there are specifications, things of that sort. So if we go back to the planet example, what blueprint do we have of a planet? What specifications do we have of a planet?
Right, but the blueprint still required a mind to put it together, correct? That's how a creation starts.
Yeah, right. And I'm saying though, then one indicator of a mind creating something is a blueprint, right? Like a plan. So where is this plan for a planet? Where is the blueprint for a planet? And so if you don't have a blueprint for a planet, how do you know a mind created it?
No, but you're agreeing with me because you're agreeing to the fact, and you're the one stating that a blueprint is required for a car to be put together. And a blueprint.
Well, everything that we know that's been created by humans has a blueprint, has some type of blueprint, right? Has some type of plan.
And it requires an intelligent mind
to make the blueprint as well, right? Yeah. So that means that a clue would be if you found a blueprint of a planet, if you found a blueprint of a tree, of an ox, of dirt. So where are these blueprints?
Wait, but one second. When the car is put together, we know that a blueprint is necessary, right?
A blueprint is necessary, correct.
Okay, good. So,
and we can find those blueprints, right?
Well, of course, but that's part of our created
Fantastic.
order.
Fantastic.
That's part of the intelligent
Okay.
mind. Beautiful.
Fantastic. Okay. So, all right, go ahead.
Yeah. So from that perspective, if a blueprint is necessary when we see an intricate creation, right, and a blueprint requires an intelligent mind, why are you not agreeing to the fact that if we see a created intelligent design, that we know that a blueprint is necessary, whether we can see it or not, the fact that it is required for that thing to come into existence, and therefore there's a mind?
Because without the blueprint, you're presupposing that that's intelligently created. And I'm telling you, without the blueprint, we have no way to determine whether or not it was intelligently created by a mind.
Okay,
we have no way to determine that.
So if a car does not have a blueprint, if something that we create does not,
no, it's a category error because a car would not come into existence without a blueprint. We know this. We already know this because, like I said earlier, a car will just not appear naturally. We don't encounter cars in nature, right? You would agree with that?
Correct. Obviously,
okay.
Yeah.
So that's one way we know. We just don't stumble upon cars. Number one. Number two, we know for a fact that cars are made from blueprints, from plans, right? So we know a mind created those. So that's why I'm asking you. For a planet, for a tree, for a rock, where are the blueprints? Because if one signature is of a mind creating something is like some type of blueprint, like a cake is a recipe. You would agree that a recipe is a blueprint, right? For a cake, or a tri-tip roast, right? So that's a type of blueprint, a recipe. So instructions that we have to follow. So where are these instructions for planets? Where are these blueprints, these recipes, these instructions, whatever you want to call them, Caliph? Where are they for planets, for trees, for rocks, for dirt, for oceans, all that stuff? Where are they?
Yeah, so I think you're committing a category error because you're assuming that God creates in the same way that we create. I'm simply using it as an analogy for a mind, for the existence of a mind that puts together this thing. So I don't necessarily agree that a blueprint is necessary for God.
Okay, great. So let's correct the category error then, and which simply is just describe how God creates things.
Well, you asked me for evidence, and I'm giving you evidence, and we agreed that if there's an intelligent creation,
you gave evidence, and we're looking at the evidence, or we're examining the evidence to see if it actually is evidence. You've offered what you think is evidence, and I'm asking you questions about it, Caleb. So it's not just, hey, here's what I say, and I say, okay, that sounds good. Have a good day. It's not like that. It's Caleb. It's like, okay, well, let's look at your evidence, to see actually if it meets the test of evidence, right? So this is what I'm doing. This is what the test is, right? So if you're bringing up, hey, you trust you committed a category error because you're assuming that God creates the same way we do. Well, no, I'm not assuming that, Caliph. All I'm saying is from what we know, everything that we know about making things, about creating things, they require recipes, instructions, blueprints, whatever, right? And you agreed with me on that. That's everything we know. So I'm only going by what I know. Now you're trying to tell me, well, you don't know that God does this. And now I'm asking you, okay, since you're telling me that, Caliph, how does God do it?
Right. And that's why I said, regardless of the blueprint, right, the primary source is a mind, right? That we said creates a blueprint.
For those blueprints. So that means there's blueprints. Yeah.
Right, but the mind is necessary for the blueprints, correct? And in turn, the creation of the car.
Right. So wouldn't you agree, Caliph, that if a mind is necessary for the blueprints, an indicator that there is a mind behind planets, trees, rocks, dirt, all that stuff, there's blueprints somewhere. You'd agree with that, right? I think you got a call.
Oh, sorry, I got a notification.
Yeah, no worries. That's what I thought.
I'm saying the mind is what's necessary. The mind is what's primary. So the mind will then create the blueprint, but the blueprint is not necessary to prove the mind. The creation is enough evidence to show that there is a mind that put that thing together. Like, I don't know.
And I'm rejecting that. That's what I'm telling you. I reject that.
Why are you rejecting that?
The reason I'm rejecting it is because you haven't given any distinguishing characteristics on why a tree and a rock and all that are all created versus we know that a car is created. And the distinguishing characteristic I came up with is a signature is an instruction, a blueprint, something like that. And so that's why I'm asking you, where are the blueprints for trees, for rocks, for oceans, for dirt, all that stuff that God supposedly created?
Do we agree that the human body is a sophisticated, intricate creation?
Yes, and very, very flawed.
Existence.
It's very intricate, very advanced. Yeah, all that stuff, but it's extremely flawed. Yes.
Good. Did you believe it came into existence by chance, randomly?
No, and I already told you nobody believes that.
Okay, beautiful. So in that case, what I was saying earlier in terms of the mind that is required for something intricate to come into existence.
Okay.
I don't know why we're hung up on the blueprint aspect, because something that is, would you agree that if something is intricate, it requires a mind?
If something is intricate, it requires a mind. No, I reject that.
But in our created order, I'm saying, like, for a car, for example, if something we create, if something
for some things, yes, but not for everything, not across the board.
Okay. What are some things that do not require a mind in our created order that we would put together, we would create?
That we would create, that do not create? Well, that's nonsensical, because you're saying something what we would create that does not require a mind. That means that we're not using our minds to create, and that doesn't make sense. It's contradiction.
That's what I'm telling you.
Okay, so
that's exactly what I'm explaining. Okay. I'm explaining something in the created order, like a car, for example. Everything that we create as human beings require a human mind, correct?
From what we know, yes. But okay. See, that's the thing, is you're presupposing that planets are created by a mind. And I'm telling you that's not the case. The evidence that we have is that it's created by a process, or it's created by something else, not a mind. That's the evidence that we have. So that's why I'm asking you, what's your evidence that it's created by a mind? One of the things that would demonstrate that is blueprints. Wouldn't you agree?
No, I would not agree. No,
okay.
Because if we can agree that something in our created order, a car, for example, that is something that we put together, if it's intricate, then it required, obviously, a human mind.
Yeah, intricacy doesn't automatically equal made by a mind. That's what I'm saying. Not? I'm pushing back on that, because again, we have evidence of things that are intricate in the universe that are not created by minds.
No, we know that our world.
Yeah, in our world, in our world, we know they're not created by minds.
No,
and on top of that, okay, and so
that we create.
All right, well, hold that thought, Caleb. We have a kick poll. So, okay, so we're up on our first kick poll today, everybody. Like, Caleb, you made it. So congratulations, because the other callers were having issues. So, so props to you for that. Okay, so we're gonna start the kick poll. Yeah, real quick. And
what is it? Oh, it's a kick. Oh, okay.
It's to keep you for more time, or to move on to the next guest. So. All right, it started on the YouTube side. Yeah, so I've changed things up since you last showed up here. And doing it on the TikTok side. So
I usually require guests to ascend a galaxy if they want to drop a guest.
Yeah, I have a jellyfish if they want to immediately drop, but that's like, extremo situations, you know what I mean? All right, happy face to keep Caliph, or crying face to move on to the next guest. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is that, like, we have, like, what we know, the evidence that we have for planets being formed, for example, Caliph, is gravity. Gravity formed these planets. That's the evidence that we have. So we don't have any evidence that a mind did this. And that's why I'm asking you for your evidence that a mind did this. And all you're trying to tell me is that intricacy is what points to a mind creating things, when that's not the case. We have more, it's more than just intricacy. We know very confidently that gravity formed these planets.
Okay, I understand that, but
yeah,
we're talking about we're talking about things that we create, and you agreed that nothing that we create can come into existence, can be created without a mind.
As far as we know for our things, but that doesn't extend to things like trees and rocks and water and things like that. Because the other thing, well, yeah, it looks like they want to.
No, brother, I'm not.
Yeah, okay. Well, they want to move on to the next guest. But hey, I appreciate you coming. We'll come back another day, and maybe we can pick it up from here. All right.
I will. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, you got it. All right. Have a good one. Yeah, I think we were we were kind of circling this whole, he just kept asserting, well, just because things are intricate, that means they're intelligently designed. I'm like, no.
Yeah,
we don't have that.
Tis the case with God of the Gaps arguments.
Yes, God of the Gaps. Yeah, because I didn't even get into like things like crystal formations and snowflakes and all. I didn't even get into any of that.
I mean, you can get as like intricate. I mean, I've heard tons of apologetics when it comes to like, God of the Gaps stuff.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, it's still God of the Gaps, and you still got to prove like which God this is.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why I really honed in on the whole blueprint thing, right?
Right.
That's the one thing I honed in on, because that's like a pretty, defining thing. So if there's blueprints of trees somewhere, that would probably get me to believe that a mind created trees. So
the best you can get to is deism or some type of intelligent design.
Yeah, exactly. The best you can. Yeah. And then that's the next step. Is the next step in the process is, okay, now that you've demonstrated that a mind created trees and all that shit.
There's a designer, quote unquote.
Yeah, a designer.
Okay, what's the nature of this designer?
Who is this designer? Exactly.
How does this designer interact with the world?
Exactly.
Like, how is this? Where is this designer? Do they live in heaven? Like, does this designer comport with the Bible? That you're like the nature that you're laying out? Like, there's so many questions.
There's so many layers to this, right? Yeah, exactly.
And that's why it just gets so exhausting to me. Like, I'm already burnt out by the time we get to deism, because that's all you get to. By the time we get to deism, I am already so exhausted. Like, that first guest, like, fucking crashed out over rhetorical, like, over what a human is.
Yeah, over whether or not humans can think.
Exactly. And that's just, to me, like, these arguments are just exhausting. It's just, you go around in circles and circles.
Exactly.
And it's very, very it's very tedious.
Oh yeah. Well, that's why I had to put the timer in, because the timer
all the way to get to deism.
Exactly.
All just to get to deism.
Just to get to deism. Exactly. And that's why I put this timer in, is because it just like it's for my sanity. That's really what it's for. Because if I can just say, okay, I only have, this much more time left, and I can hang. I can do this. All right. Now,
it is just exhausting. I mean, my degrees, like I said, it's in the Bible. So I would rather talk about like textual criticism and why like I don't believe anymore. A lot of it has to do with how the Bible came together, like New Testament in particular.
Yeah, exactly.
Authorship. Those are going to be my objections, Christians. Like, if you want to talk, Christian authorship of, or the early church fathers and their
what's funny?
Theology. Like, I'm down with that.
Yeah. What's funny is I thought we would have like more, what's funny is like when I have like folks like you up, I get like all the philosophy guys, right? The Phil bros. But then if I have a Phil bro, like I've had Monkey Boy up, and then, like he's totally all philosophy, right? And I have him up, and he was only up for like maybe half hour, and it was all like Christians who want to talk about the Bible. He's just sitting there quietly. He's like, all right, I got nothing to do. I'm going to go. I'm like, hey, I don't blame you, man.
Yeah.
It's just funny.
I want to talk about the Odyssey too, because I feel like my objections to Christianity, like, it's not just authorship and textual criticism, it's also my objections within the realms of the Odyssey. Like, why is this God allowing all this stuff, like needless suffering? Yes, and just, it's awful, and just evil, and them causing evil. I mean, there's tons of things in the Bible where, Isaiah 45 verse 7 literally has God saying, I caused this shit. I'm responsible. I caused the good and the evil, everything. All me.
It's wild, isn't it? Well, we have somebody in the YouTube queue, so let's bring them on board. We're gonna bring in Steven from the Netherlands. So give us just a second here, Steven. I just gotta copy and paste the link, Video Ninja, and then I gotta unmute you, and you should be good to go. All right, Steven, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Thanks for waiting. How you doing?
Okay.
It sounds a little echoey on my end.
Is it echoey?
Like you're in like a, It sounds like he's like talking through like a pipe or something.
a tiny bit. But can you hear him okay, Redhead?
A little bit. I mean, do you remember those like little
I can hear you
playground?
very well.
You know those little playground microphones like at the
Yeah.
parks, and you can
Yes.
like talk through them, and
I
then
remember
you
that.
hear the other person. Like I feel
Okay.
like that is exactly what we're listening to
Okay.
here.
Well, let's see if I can bump it. Is it like too faint for you? Because it sounds okay on my
It's
end.
not.
But
It's loud. It's just
weird.
the quality of the auto is
I gotcha. Okay,
is
that
my
makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. All right. Well, we'll try and roll with it, but if it's too much, then let me know.
That's
and
fine.
I'll
It's fine. If it's
Okay.
good on everybody says it sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. All right,
Okay.
Stephen. All right, we got that out of the way. So tech wise, we're okay. So Stephen, are you at least 18?
Yeah, I'm 42.
Fantastic. Okay. And do you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran?
I believe in Jesus Christ, the Bible.
Okay. And what is your best evidence that God is real?
Yes, I think my best evidence is that hell is real.
Hell is real. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then
That's
what's okay. And how do you know hell is real?
Well, because I saw this this article a while back about some scientists in Russia, I think in Siberia, and they basically went and drilled a hole deep into the core of the earth. And so they were drilling, and they drilled, I think, like 9 miles deep into the ground.
Mhm.
And then they put down some sensors and also a microphone in there. And then they were able to record. And then they basically were recording voices of people screaming. And so when I heard that, I thought, okay, this is then really strong proof that, you know, hell is basically down.
In the middle of the earth?
Exactly.
Okay.
So
that's the evidence. All right.
Wow.
Yeah, it's sort of scientific, you know, because the scientists were the ones actually doing this, and not
Mhm.
yeah.
How
I feel like there's so many better places for God to throw your ass. Like if you're gonna like, I mean, the universe is huge. There's a lot of scary planets and stuff. Why don't they just like throw you on Venus or
I can't hear you
you
if you're
know?
saying anything.
You can't hear her?
Oh, I cannot hear you actually. I can only hear you now. Yeah, I can hear you now.
You couldn't hear Redhead Trouble?
No, I couldn't hear her. No.
It's odd.
Bizarre.
It's weird. Yeah, I'm having like these. It's just these weird audio issues with Video Ninja. So let me see if I can fix some things here
with the video.
Yeah, it's Video Ninja. That's how I link YouTube to TikTok and put it all together in one thing. But yeah, it seems to all right. Let's try it now.
Seems like you have a lot more of like an elaborate setup. I'm just like on TikTok.
Yeah, I just tried to do like the YouTube to TikTok thing. Well, here, Reddit Trouble, try to say something, and then let's see if Steven can hear it. So go ahead and say something.
Hello.
Did you hear that, Steven?
No, I didn't hear her. I could only hear you.
Damn.
Wow.
Okay, I might have to suspend taking guests on YouTube because this isn't working right. Yeah, this is so weird because usually it works fine. Like I've been making it
I wonder
work.
if he's like calling from this like hell tunnel that he's talking about.
Maybe, I don't know.
Like maybe that's where the echo, like that's where the echo is, and that's his proof. Like he can like yeah, like he's right there right now, trust. Like he's, you know.
Maybe. Okay.
Maybe that's why his signal is so bad.
Yeah, I think what I'm going to do, Steven, I'm sorry. I'm going to drop the call because I can't get my partner in. But I appreciate you coming up. Yeah, I got to work out like the tech issues. It's not working today for some reason, so I have to figure it out. But I'm probably just going to suspend taking people on YouTube for now. So yeah, sorry about that. Unless you want to jump over to TikTok, if you have a TikTok account, you can find me on there, and then you can jump in the queue.
Okay.
All righty. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, the tech is just not cooperating today, and I don't have time to really mess with it. So, all right. Well, thanks for coming up. Appreciate you. All right. Yeah,
that is a wild apologetic for hell, though.
I've heard it before, and
I've
so
heard it too,
I was
like, to me that's like some Ron Wyatt shit.
I was really looking forward to get into it, but it's not meant to be. That's just too bad. All right. So unfortunately, yeah, YouTube guests, I'm gonna suspend the link for now because I got to figure out why it's like first there was like echo. He could hear you at first, and he stopped hearing, and I don't know why that's the case. I don't know why that happened. So
I would lump that apologetic into like the crowd of the shroud of Turin, and
Shroud of Turin.
you know, but yeah, like you know, bleeding Mary statues and you know all that nonsense.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, so we're just gonna suspend taking up YouTube guests for now. So sorry. So for the one that's in the guest queue, I'm sorry. You can jump over to TikTok if you want to talk to me. So sorry about that. Okay. So we're just gonna do that for now. All right. We're just gonna focus on people in the TikTok queue. Sorry, YouTube people. I don't know what my tech is doing today. Which is kind of weird because it's been working fine for like last week. And it didn't do it.
I want to see like ones in the chat if you think that Siberian hell evidence was good evidence.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we can do a quick vote on that. We'll do a quick vote.
Yeah, like I just like I want to see what the chat like what they're like. Do you think that was like a good apologetic?
What was
0?
What was it? The hole in Siberia?
The whole, yeah, it was like the hole in Siberia equals like that there's like hell at the end of the, like some scientists said they heard screaming.
All right, the poll's on YouTube, and here we'll do the happy face, sad face. So happy face on TikTok if you think it was good evidence, crying face if you think it was not good evidence. So we'll start that poll now. Let's just see what everybody says. We're gonna do it the scientific way. Reddit trouble. We're gonna do it that way. We're gonna see what everybody says. So we're at 91% on YouTube. So I want to know who voted yes. That's what I want to know. So,
there's 2 people on TikTok.
2 on TikTok.
Maybe they should come up. Those are potential guests. Why don't they come up and argue their point? Yes.
Yeah, come on up.
I feel like that was a good way of just kind of like fleshing out some Christians and like see like who wants to come up and discuss this topic.
There you go. 94%. Jeez, that's wild. 94%. All right. So we're almost done with the poll. We got about 10 more seconds. Yeah, 33-2. That's interesting. So I want to know who the 2 are. And if you're you got to be trolling, huh? Either you're trolling or you are serious, and you got to be in the guest queue so we can talk to you because we want to know. And then I want to know who was part of the 96%, the 4% who said yes on YouTube.
The hell thing
out of 26 votes. Yeah. 90. So
like 4%. To hell.
Yeah. I think it was, so there was like 2 of you who said yes. That's interesting. All right.
That is wild.
All right. Well, hey. All right then. Okay. Well, let's pull up a guest from the TikTok side. Okay. This one. All right. And if you're in the guest queue, again, you have to be at least 18, a believer in the God of the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, and also have evidence that God is real. How you doing, Josh?
Hi, I'm doing fine. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for waiting. How old are you?
I'm 24.
Okay. And which God do you believe in?
The God of the Bible.
Fantastic.
Sorry, my voice is a bit down. Yeah.
No, you're doing fine. Okay. What's your best evidence that God is real?
Okay, so I would come in from 2 places because I think there is a particular, you can't attack this question in one way because at the end of the day, it's still a mystery, right? The creation of the earth is still a mystery.
Okay.
I heard you say gravity, and since time from beginning, humans as we are, we've been trying to understand this mystery, and that's where religion came through. That's where different things have come through, science.
Sure.
Just trying to understand the creation and the mystery of life, of Earth. And I heard you say gravity, which is correct, but I don't think the Christian God necessarily. I don't think that disproves the counter for God. I don't know if you get what I'm saying, because at the end of the day, science believes everything that has a beginning was created.
That's not true. No, that's not what science thinks. No, it's not what science thinks.
So what is one thing that because science believes that the earth has the beginning, right?
Science believes Earth has a beginning. Yes, that's true. But you said everything has a
Exactly.
beginning, and that's not true. Science does not believe that.
Everything has a beginning. What doesn't have a beginning?
The universe.
I'm part of like B theory of time.
Yeah.
Like,
Same here.
yeah.
But we have evidence that the universe has always existed. It's eternal. And then by that, but then by your logic, you would then you don't believe that everything has a beginning, because that means that God has a beginning, and you don't believe
No,
that, do
because
you?
I don't exactly. So that
Are you a
but
Christian? Did
yeah,
they
I'm a
say they were a
Christian.
Christian? Oh, okay, cool. So do
Yeah, I'm
you
a
believe
Christian.
that
But
the
in
Bible? Do you believe that the Earth was created in 6 days, or?
the earth is created in 6 days. Yeah, I do believe in the creation of the earth according to the Bible. I'm a Christian. So
Okay.
now when you brought the argument of God has a beginning, God does not have a beginning, even according to the Christian Bible. God is timeless. I said everything that has a beginning is created.
Okay.
And I'm saying earth has a beginning. I didn't say the universe because I believe God is the universe, but we'll get into that later. But I'm saying that everything that has a beginning is timeless. And the earth has a beginning.
Okay.
Which you agree with. Gravity has a beginning, which you
No.
agree, and everything.
Gravity does not have a beginning. No, disagree.
What
Scientifically,
if gravity does, let me explain. So Earth is created by a very solid mathematical, precise mathematical law, right?
what
It is called
precise
fire.
what precise law created the Earth?
It's basically science. Science says
Yeah,
that.
what science created the Earth?
Yeah, I'm gravity.
Gravity. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, you said
and I'm saying
it's precise math. What's the math?
I said it's a mathematical law. The gravity force, if it was higher or lower by 0.1, the Earth wouldn't be made. You can
Okay.
fact check that. So I'm
All
saying it's a
right.
precise mathematical law.
Okay, so we're
because if
doing the
it's zero-
fine-tuning argument now?
Let me finish the entire process. And I
Okay.
said everything that has a beginning, right? Has a creator. That's my argument towards that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I said,
So you're doing the Kalam. You're doing the Kalam
Yeah, something. It's
argument.
it's like jumping between the Kalam and the fine-tuning. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not jumping because I believe that I don't believe, like I said, I don't believe.
I want to go
that.
back to, you said that the Earth was created in 6 days. I feel like that needs to be focused on.
Yeah. So what do you have about that?
Well,
do you think that like any of those accounts in Genesis 1 and 2 are contradictory in terms of their order? Like, wouldn't you need the sun to have trees, for example? Like, I'm talking like order of operations in terms of like how nature works.
I don't
in our
think,
reality.
So let me explain again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we could go through the entire process and to lead us to the chicken and the egg and all those kind of things of all.
Right, exactly. But like day 3, you have the land and the plants, like the sky, the land and the plants, and then like in day 4, you have the sun, the moon, and the stars. Wouldn't you need like wouldn't the like plants like die right away, like not having sun for like a whole 24 hours? Like, wouldn't that like the earth?
But we are talking about a divine God. We're talking about someone who is above and who created this entire process, right? We're not talking about
So
us.
he was just supernaturally sustaining all these things. Is that what that's what you're telling me?
I don't please come again.
So he was just supernaturally like protecting the trees on day 3, like with one hand, and like creating with his other hand.
No, the first thing he said was, "Let there be." Please, let's follow the process again. If we open Genesis 1, the first thing he said was, "Let there be light," which was the sun, right? And he separated the light from the day, which is the sun and the moon, the darkness and the night.
He just said, "Let there." He just said, "Let there be light." Like he's like, I interpret that as not the sun, because the sun is in day 4. That's just like him just saying like flashing a flashlight on his little creation project.
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
not anything. It's just like this is just some ethereal light that he just like his little flashlight. It's his Patronus spell.
Right. So
Exactly. So
okay.
what my points I'm making, right, is that the Genesis scripture, right, Genesis 1 to 4, is not is not is more of a what's the word I use now, way to describe the creation, is not the physics behind it. Genesis 1 did not. That's why I'm not also. I don't also support Christians when they try to use Genesis or the creation as the physics behind the creation of the earth. I think it's just a process for the human mind to be able to understand the creation,
Got it.
not the
But
physics
you said
behind.
that you believe in a literal 6-day
No,
creation.
no. You asked me if I believe in the creation, and I said yes. I believe in Genesis 1. I didn't say
That is not
I
what I
believe in.
said. I asked you, do you believe in a literal
No, not the
6-day
no, no, not,
creation?
not no, 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 no. I don't believe in the literal word for
Like
word.
6
Like
days, like 1 day equals 24 hours,
no,
as
no,
the
no, no,
Hebrew
no,
suggests. It's yom is there's no
no, no,
age.
no,
But even
no.
if it is an
Yeah.
age, it's like, you know.
No, I don't believe in the no. I don't believe in like, oh, in the first day, then 24 hours, the second day. No, I don't believe in that.
Okay.
Okay, so you take an old earth position as far as like a Christian?
I've taken what?
Like and that's like there's you one I thought you were saying was young earth, which is young earth creation. And that
Yeah,
perceives
bro.
the earth, the creation account to be a literal 6 days.
No, 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 no. Like I said, that's what I was saying, that I believe that the Genesis 1 is more of a process, is not of is it doesn't explain the actual physics behind creation. It's more of allowing the human mind to understand the creation, right? It's not about the physics behind the creation.
Okay.
The Bible says it's literal 6 days though. So you don't affirm a literal interpretation then.
The Bible didn't say it's literal.
It is. Yom means 1 day.
Okay.
We have a Bible scholar here, so
I'm coming. I'm trying to open the Greek Bible to read that passage again. But you could go ahead. I'm listening to you.
all right. Well, what she's saying is that it states a literal day in Genesis. So you'd have to, because then it says elsewhere in the Bible that, it says, what does it say? Read at a day to God is 1,000 years. So you could probably,
I
so you
mean,
make that leap.
if you do that typology, it's still just like 6,000
It's still
years.
6,000 years. That's like the
And then
longest you can go.
you're also having full like ages of like not having essential things
Yeah,
for.
Like 1,000 years
yeah,
that trees and plants had no
Yeah.
light, had no sunlight. Yeah.
yeah, but I've pushed and I've said again and again that I think it's a theological literature and not a scientific chronology. Basically,
Fair.
I've said that. I've repeated over and over again. I believe in it, not in a scientific chronological way. So when you say Yom, I still believe in it in a theological literature way, rather than it being a scientific way. Not that it's 24 hours, or when he said, even though the Bible said a day, I'm not taking it scientifically as a scientific chronological order, but more of as a theological literature. It's basically so when you look at day in Hebrew, which is yon, it doesn't always mean 24 hours in the Bible. If we look at Genesis 2:4, right, and Psalms 90 verse 4, right, it used the word yom, and it used 1,000 years, I think. In Hosea 6:2, it used the word yom, and yom was used symbolically in Hosea 6:2.
Okay. Here, Josh, we can cut to the chase here. Let's cut to the chase. How old do you think the Earth is?
That's not for me to know. I don't think.
So you don't know?
I don't know. I don't know. We don't know. Science don't know.
Science does know.
Science.
We know how old the Earth is.
Huh?
We know how old the Earth is. It's about 4.6 billion years old.
Okay.
It goes and this stretches across multiple scientific disciplines. So
Okay.
it crosses multiple, and they've all confirmed it. So they all come up with about 4.6 billion years. So
I agree with all you're saying. I'm just trying to understand where the logic is in terms of creation and in terms of, you know, how that disproves God.
It doesn't disprove God. It's just fact. It's just data. It doesn't say, nobody has ever said, Josh, the earth is 4.6 billion years, therefore God doesn't exist. Nobody has ever said that. No scientist has ever said that.
I'm talking in terms of creation.
And to be clear, I'm just trying to figure out where you fit in with this, because when we're talking about the creation narrative, I think it's relevant to like flesh this out to see where you land.
Yeah,
like I want
that's
to
what
see
we're just.
like
That's
if
all
you're
we're
a
trying
young
to do.
earther. I'm just trying to see like how you view the Genesis narrative.
Yeah.
That to me that matters, does it not? Like.
Yeah, that's all we're trying to do.
I would think that's like problematic, like because we're talking about intelligent design and you applying it to your Christian worldview. So I'm just asking these questions. It's in no way am I like, I mean, obviously I would attack it once I find your position, but I mean, I'm just trying to figure out what it is so I can attack it.
Yeah.
Okay. So like I said, my position for Genesis and the creation is more of a theological literature, and I don't take it literal in meaning 24 hours or one day. I take it as a theological literature. Basically.
Okay. Well, then that brings up an interesting question. So if you're saying that's not literal, I think that's what you're saying. It's not literal in Genesis. And then how did you determine that wasn't literal? Or it was metaphorical or allegorical, however you want to frame it. Yeah.
Good. So
how did you figure that out?
I'm going to explain. Because of three things, right? Now, if we look at it, we will look at it in three ways, right? Which shows me, sorry, in two ways, which shows me that first of all, it explained, Genesis explained it in a parallel structure. It started with day 1 to 3, and then day 4 to 6. Day 1 to 3, it talked about it in terms of creating realms. So it talked about creating light, creating dark, creating the sky, creating the sea, creating the land. And then day 4 to 6, he talked about filling them, which was the sun, the moon, the stars, the fish, the birds, the land, the animals, which was something of an artistic symmetry.
Yeah.
Then I will go into that Genesis was written in a culture where they believed in myths. They believed in Enuma. They believed in Elish. So Enuma Elish. I think I can't remember.
Okay. So it's mythical in that sense. Okay.
No, not mythical. Not mythical. Like I said, the Bible used the times every single time. That's the Bible used the times and the moments of the people and to teach theological truths. It's like, for example, if you have a child and Santa is not real, right? But if you want to teach them something about giving, you could use Santa to teach about giving. It doesn't mean Santa, even though Santa is not real. So I'm saying it used a time in which they had different myths going on to teach about the culture of the real creation of the earth. I didn't say that it's based on myth or it's mythological.
All right. So let's cut to the chase again. All right, let's get to the chase again, because I think we've kind of hashed out where you're at with the Bible as far as that's concerned. So let's just go back to what you were saying about how you know that the earth was created. So how do you know the earth was created?
When they talk about like if they're going to take like the epic, like is that your position that it's 6 epics?
Sorry,
is that what God's saying? I'm trying to understand the creation narrative with you here. Is it 6 epics or is it 6 days? Which is it?
No, I've said it over and over again that I believe that that Genesis 1 was theological, and even though the use of yom consistently in the Bible did not always mean 24 hours. Consistently in the Bible, I could bring different passages in the Bible where yom was used to mean thousands of days. Yom was used to mean
right. Well, I'm familiar.
It was used to mean different things in different parts of the Bible, right? So I'm presenting it to you that was a
that still creates more problems though, because then you're going thousands of years where plants are just
it was used What I'm saying is Yom was used
Without
in
the sun
different
and the moon and the
contexts. You
stars for
have to
thousands
look.
of years, is that the case?
No, that's not the case. I said you have to look at things in context. I said there are parts of the Bible
How
where
am I
Yom.
not seeing it in context?
Yeah, no, she's seen it in context.
So let me explain to you, right?
She's seen it in context. She's
There
just
are
reading.
parts
She's
of-
reading what it
there are-
says, and it doesn't make sense. And so she's asking you make it make sense.
And I'm trying to make it make sense. And I'm saying in context, right? Yom in the Bible has been used to mean 1,000 days. I didn't say that because it was used to mean 1,000 days in Psalm 91, then that means that in Genesis it's 1,000 days.
Okay.
There is a place in, I think, is it Hosea? I think.
Well, we got that part. We got the 1,000 years and day part. What she's asking about is the other parts of it where, like, for example, how come there were plants that were created before the sun?
And they're just hanging out for like thousands of years.
And I literally said from the beginning that Genesis 1 is about a theological process, not what's the word I use now again?
Well, the physics process. I think you said physics.
Not the scientific chronology.
The scientific chronology.
I gave you that the day 1 to 3 was about creating realms, and day 4 to 6 was about the sun, moon, and the stars, and the fish, the birds, and everything was about filling them. I already gave you that. It's a theological literature, not a scientific chronology.
Okay. So, are you saying then that the Genesis story doesn't line up with what we know about science?
Seems to me like this God can communicate with us. Because I mean, in verse 5 of chapter 1, it says, God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first Yom, first day. This is in the context literally points to a 24-hour period.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Verse 5.
That's the context. So now, does that mean then that the first day was 1,000 years?
Yeah, we are still going back. It's like we are moving in circles over and over again, because, like I said, we are still using Yom in the when I've given you examples of Yom being used.
But you get the context.
Well, you just said, you just said context.
It doesn't say epic. It says Yom. It says he called the day light, or the light day, and the darkness he called night.
And that's Yom.
And there was evening and there was morning the first day. It literally means 24. And plus, like, historically, like, this was interpreted as a literal 24-hour period. This didn't come much. This interpretation, the old Earth.
See the context there. Let me explain the context there. Let me explain the context there. Now, in what we mean day as 24 hours, the day we mean as 24 hours comes with the light and comes with the darkness, right?
Mm-hmm.
But correct. in that context, he called the light day and he called the darkness. So if that was 24 hours,
but here's the thing: this theme is repeated throughout. Like in verse 8, you have God called the dome. It's the firmament. So that's my next question. Do you believe in a flat earth, or do you mean?
I mean, even the Bible doesn't believe in a flat earth. I believe
it does believe in a flat earth. And there was evening and there was morning the second day.
There is a lot I can bring you. The Genesis does not say that the earth is flat. Genesis scripture does not say the earth is flat, and there are also places in the scriptures where it classifies the earth as spherical in shape.
It's a dome. The dome is sky. And there's other passages later on where like some of in the prophets.
You mean 1 through 14, 114?
In the prophets, they describe the earth as a seal, like a flat seal. It's not, and there's a different word for sphere in Hebrew.
So again.
I'm just saying that the Bible, this is how it was understood. Like, you're wanting to look at things in context. This is exactly how it was understood. They 100% believe
exactly
that the earth is
how
flat.
You want to make it understood, and I'm trying to show you the difference. So it's like we are going back and forth on an issue of is this letter
let's go back to the evening.
Because when I bring a passage to you, when he says, "Oh, his legs," when the Bible says about the earth being spherical in shape, you would say, oh, it's a different thing. And then you bring it as, when he talks about the
Because
Bible
that's
being
not in
a
the text.
sphere.
There's a Hebrew word for sphere, and that's not it. I can't, like, I'm not Dalton. I can't like just like reference that word like off the top of my head, but I know that there's a difference of the words, and I know that for a fact that the word for sphere is not in the text. But we can let's just focus on the evening and there's morning, because that's the theme.
But if you look, let me again.
That's the parallelism. That's the parallelism in the text. You have, and there was evening and there was morning the second day.
You've not allowed me
That
to.
keeps getting repeated when we're talking about like the.
You every time I'm countering your point, you bring another point, and then you go back to the same point, and you're not allowed me to speak on it.
I've been in the same point. I'm still in Genesis 1, dude.
You brought, okay, so let me go back. Let's go back. You brought about the Bible being flat, and I'm going to bring scriptures. Isaiah 11:12. It said the four corners of the earth, meaning that the Bible, which is an idiom of which is the Bible.
Earth is square.
About the circle of the earth.
So you're not a flat earther, then? You're not a flat earther. You don't believe the earth is flat.
I'm not a flat earther.
Oh,
He brought about
Doug.
Pillars of the earth. He brought about pillars of the earth.
W round earth. Good.
First Samuel 2 verse 8.
Do you disagree with the Bible then?
Where does the Bible say the earth is flat? Bring the passage where the Bible says the earth is flat. You are always bringing things and you're saying, oh, but that means, but there's no place in the Bible where the Bible has said the earth is flat.
It literally refers to the earth as a seal, and the seal is like a clay tablet. It literally the prophets literally saw them as they saw the earth as a flat earth.
It didn't describe. Read the passage.
It's the firmament. I'm just telling you what was believed. I'm glad that you don't believe that the earth is flat, but the Bible definitely teaches that the earth is flat.
Okay, so open the passage where it describes it as a seal and let's read it. We are discussing the Bible, right? Open the passage where it describes it as a seal and let's read it so that we can take it in context.
Yeah, what passage is that?
So bring
I'll put it up on the screen.
Give me a sec.
Fingers are typing away.
Let's see here. I know Dalton would know this right off the top of his head.
Yeah, he would. Let's see if I can find it.
Yeah, I'm looking for it right now. Job, is it Job 38:14?
38:4. Well, that's like foundation of the earth. Job 37.
It's chained like clay under the seal. I know that there's I know it's definitely. I know I've read it before. I know I'm not crazy.
And I'm going to say again, you're looking for one passage where you claim that it described the Bible.
It's a common thing. Like, I'm not crazy for thinking that the ancient Hebrews thought the earth was flat. They 100% thought the earth was flat.
I'm not saying you're lying. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying there's one passage where it describes the earth as a seal, right? When you bring it up, we'll look at it. While I can say there are multiple more passages, I can bring about 4 or 5 more passages that describe the earth as round.
Okay, so then what we have is we have ourselves a contradiction.
Exactly. Again, I said when you read the Bible, you have to read it in context. You can't take the words literal. You have to read the entire passage. That you have the thing with a lot of atheists is you go to the Bible and then you take the context out of it. You read the literal, maybe the Bible says, and God said this, and you just take that literal word out. You don't look at it in context. You don't know if the writer was speaking it poetically. You don't know if the writer was speaking it
how does it, and then how do you determine what the context?
Isaiah 40,
I determine it through the
22
Holy Spirit.
is one where it
Through the
says
Holy Spirit,
he
you
sits
determine
above the
context.
circle of the earth. It's
Isaiah
not
40 verse 22. Yes, circle of the
yeah.
earth. Isaiah
Is
42 verse
that where you're
22.
saying it's a sphere? But
I said
the word for sphere and circle are different. Is
no.
is
The
circle
word chalk.
is a
The
circle
word
flat,
chalk.
or is a circle flat, or is it a
The word
sphere?
chalk. The word chalk in Hebrew. The word chalk in Hebrew is circle or spherical. You could check it. It's a circle or spherical vault. You can go and verify that. The word chalk in Hebrew is either circle or spherical, because we are trying to argue with a language, Hebrew, that wasn't a language where it. For example, now we have circle. Tomorrow we can bring up a different shape that could mean a shape that is close to circle.
So you're saying that the Hebrew word.
I'm just glad that you're not a flat earther. Like to me, that's a W.
Yeah, that is a big W.
I'm happy that you're not a flat earther. That's awesome.
Are not flat earthers, to be fair.
All right. So
I would hope most Christians are not flat earthers.
Okay. Well, we get a few.
Are you aware that there's a lot of you're aware though that there's a lot of Christians that are flat earthers?
Yeah, I'm aware.
Okay, very good. All right. So I think what the point we're trying to understand though is because you were saying that they're
about day and night.
Yeah, about day and night.
The epic. Yep.
Yeah. So we were at the day and night, and you're saying, well, it doesn't necessarily mean a day versus, it could mean 1,000 years. Yeah, if you read into it. However, if you look at the translations, as Red Hat Trouble was doing, it literally says a day, because that's why I asked you originally, are you saying then that the daylight lasted 1,000 years? If we go back to that passage.
Yeah. The translation really literally means a day. And the translation she's taking is the Hebrew word called yom. Now,
correct.
Like I said, Hebrew was it's not a language that, what's the word I'll use now? It was more of it's a context-based language. It's not a literal language. It's not a language you could literally translate word for word, right? It's not like French, or it's not like Spanish, for example, right?
Granted.
Now
well, there's context in Spanish and stuff too. Yes, that part we agree. Yeah, when things translate from different languages, yes, you got to take in the context. You got to take in the context.
I think you'd be a great guest on Dalton's. You should go on. Have you ever been on Dalton the Bible Guys?
No, but you could share it to me.
Yeah, of course. Like, yeah, he's a good. I mean, he would be able to have this break this down better for you, because he knows Hebrew far better than I do.
Yeah. So, but I'm saying that the context, the word yom, which is a Hebrew word,
I'm pretty certain that the Bible teaches, that it's a literal day, and then that the earth is also flat.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know if any Jews consider like that.
Yeah, because
1,000 years.
Jews, which they use the Torah, right? The Jews also believe in the creation, and it's the same thing. Different theologies, different interpretation of the Bible, or interpretation of the Torah, specifically since we are in the Old Testament. It will bring about different people saying, "Oh, it's a literal translation." Other people will say it's not a literal translation, right? Even among
starting the polls. Yeah, go ahead and finish your thought. I'm starting the kick polls.
But the point I'm making is that the word yom, which you can translate to day in Hebrew, is also in the Bible multiple times, even in the
kick polls are on, everybody. Mm-hmm.
Right, but if you're gonna do the epic thing, there's still logical problems with that.
No, there's no logical problem, because you can't take things literally. You have to take things poetically. You have to take things philosophical.
Genesis 1 and 2 is not poetic.
I said it's a theological. I've made mention and mention again. I don't take it as a scientific chronological order. I said it's a theological description. I literally said that from the beginning, that I don't take it as a scientific chronological order.
All right.
So was God's creation perfect when it happened? Because like there's like dinosaurs and stuff that have like it's been proven that they have like cancer.
The
So is that
dinosaurs.
like
That
So is
would be
that like
fine.
a is that
I'm not saying how that goes
Oh, it goes
against,
into the fossil record and stuff, and it to me it has a lot of implications when you're talking about
I mean,
this
if you look
God,
at it in literal
because the
6 days,
argument, right,
yes.
was because the whole argument is that the Earth didn't become corrupted until Adam and Eve sinned.
All
Were
right.
the dinosaurs before Adam and Eve, or what? Like, how do you view that?
Well, I'm going to jump in here.
No.
Hey, listen, Josh, the chat has decided to move on to the next guest, but hey, I appreciate you coming up.
You're welcome.
All right. Have a good day.
Yeah.
All right. So
it gets wild.
Totally gets wild.
You get twisted into pretzels like with this subject.
Yeah, totally.
But I think it's important, like, instead of like going on and on about like whether God exists, like let's just get to the bottom of like and just show how silly this concept is.
I think because I know that the point he kept trying to make is that, well, you have to, because there's poetic parts to it, you have to take it in context. So what he was trying to say is, what I heard him trying to say is, well, you can't take everything literally. Okay, well then how do you determine what's literal and what isn't then? Like, how do you figure that out? Because I mean, I remember hearing that when I was in theology classes. Yeah, it's like, okay, well, this part it's meta, because that's what I was told, that all of Genesis was metaphorical. It was all metaphorical. Like none of it was true. All of it was metaphorical. And that seemed, that made sense at the time. But then you think back on that and you're like, well, then what is metaphorical and then what's literal? Then how do you know that it's just not just a story?
And this is why you have problems. Like, this is where you get a lot of problems, like, especially when you're doing like systematic theology, because these claims have impacts like all the way down the line when you're doing your like, how do you get to, like, especially if you're like a Calvinist, like, how do you get to total depravity?
Yeah. Well,
how do you get to total depravity if that is the case?
Well, I mean, we heard it, we heard it firsthand. Essentially, whatever God says is good. Whatever God says is good. That's it. Period. End of story. And that is definitely problematic. Definitely
and
problematic.
That's what I was trying to flesh out. Is just like this affects your entire systematic theology. All these things have implications when you.
Yeah, exactly. It totally does. Okay. So let's move on to the next guest. So again, if you're in the guest queue, I think you guys have been waiting since the last time I announced it. So we'll just move on to the next guest. All right. Bring up NJ. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. We can't hear you very well. Maybe move closer to the mic or switch to a different mic or something like that.
Hello?
Yeah, barely can hear you.
There may be some ambient noise in here that could be affecting the quality. Can you hear me a little better now?
Like a tiny bit. Yeah, it's not much. It's not much better.
Do you think the sound is adequate enough for us to have a discussion, or?
It might be, but then I'm also concerned. I want to be sure that, because I got chat on 3 platforms that need to hear you, and so I want to be sure that they can hear you as well. So,
let me try using headphones, because
okay.
It might just be my mic.
All right. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I mean, I can hear them, but it's not just you and me. We got, over 100 people, almost 200 people watching. So we got to look out for them too.
Is this better?
Not much. Hey, listen, how about this? I know you were waiting a long time, but let's see if you can like switch to a different mic or something. And then I'll put you to the front of the line as like the very next guest, but I want to move on to another guest. So let's give it another shot. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that was going to be a tough conversation to have. So, okay. So again, yeah, so we have a new guest in the queue. So if you just joined the queue, please be at least 18 years old. That's TikTok terms of service. Please be a believer in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran, and also have evidence ready that God is real. Okay, let's move on to the next guest. All right, Bible 24, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you okay. How old are you?
67.
Okay. And which God do you believe in? Oh, well, you said Bible, so it's probably God of the Bible.
I believe in Yahweh. Yes.
Safe to say. Okay, very good. Easy. All right. And what is your best evidence that God is real?
Well, it's not actually from a biblical perspective that I believe God is real. It's more about the science end of it.
Okay, the science end?
Yes. So the science end has two parts in it that science is silent at. And the first part of that is that science says that in the beginning of our universe, there was hydrogen, helium, and trace lithium.
Mm-hmm.
And from that, other stars contributed the rest of the elements.
Okay.
And one more part of that, which is dust. Okay. They don't know where the elements came from. They just say that a star, another star other than our star, contributed those elements.
Okay.
But they're silent to the point that they don't know why it happened. They don't know how it happened. They've never been able to create any type of life that may have existed from those elements that existed in our solar system.
Okay.
Now, the other end of that is that using the James T. Webb telescope lately, they went to 300 million years after the Big Bang.
Okay.
And the information that was retrievable in that is they had fully formed galaxies 300 million years after the Big Bang, which in their own interpretation is impossible. That you cannot have fully formed galaxies in 300 million years.
Okay.
And so beyond that time, they cannot have any more information because there's a wall of gases that exist that they cannot see beyond. It's not that the James T. Webb telescope cannot see beyond into the Big Bang. It's just that there's gases there that make the penetration of that information impossible.
Okay. So just to kind of cut to the chase, are you saying because of all this, therefore God exists?
I'm saying because of those, something has to exist beyond that.
How so?
Okay. So if you start back in the beginning again, is you have the elements, right?
Right. Yeah.
That we know. Okay.
Well, yeah, but okay. Well, hold on. Just to kind of, I don't need you to re-explain the whole thing because I did take notes. What I'm trying to ask is, how does all that? So there was hydrogen, helium, and trace lithium, dust. Science doesn't know where these elements came from. Science can't create life from these elements. Also, the James Webb, demonstrates it's impossible to have galaxies 300 million years after the Big Bang, and they can't see beyond a wall of gases. So what I'm trying to, so did I get all that right? Is that all?
Absolutely.
Okay. So to you, how does that point to, you said something has to exist beyond that, right? So then let's kind of point to then, how in your mind does that get you to the God of the Bible?
Okay, there's just one more element in all of that. And that element is in order for any of that to exist, there has to be something outside of time, space, and matter.
How so? Why so?
Because you cannot get something from nothing.
Okay, you can't get something from nothing. And which science says that that something came from nothing?
All sciences say that.
Where? Yeah, point me. Okay, well,
you said that,
hold on. Point me to a paper that says that things were created from nothing. What paper says that?
you cannot create time, space, or matter.
Okay, that's not what I asked. What I asked was, can you show me a paper, a published paper that says, from a scientist, that says something came from nothing?
No, they're not going to admit that.
They're not going to.
Absolutely.
Okay, well then, how do you know that? How do you know that they assert that? Well, hold on. How do you know? Hold on. How do you know they assert that then? Because you're inferring that, aren't you? You're assuming that, but has any scientist ever said that something came from nothing? And if so, who?
No, they're silent on it.
They're silent on it. Okay, so then how do you know that that's what they say? That's what they assert.
Well, what I'm asserting is that in order for everything to exist, something outside of time, space, and matter must exist.
Okay, so you're saying that something. Okay, so we've established that scientists actually haven't said something came from nothing. So that's a misrepresentation of their position, right? So I don't think anyone believes that. Well, honestly, I think Christians believe that.
Well, you said that.
I mean, technically they don't, because the waters, like if you look at the creation narrative, there's the waters, and he's hovering over the waters. The waters were already there.
Oh, the waters were already there? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, got it. So the waters were eternal.
No.
I guess. Okay. All right. Sorry, we're getting derailed. So here, let me.
The elements again of
Okay.
hydrogen and oxygen.
Okay, let's get back to what you were saying. Okay, so and let's just imagine that everything you said up to this point is true. That there was hydrogen, helium, lithium, dust, and scientists don't know where these elements come from. So
exactly.
Let's just take all that and just assume it's all true. What I'm trying to understand is you're saying that there had to be something timeless, spaceless, or timeless, be outside of time and space. There had to be something outside of time, space, and matter that is responsible for this. That's what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Inside of their own scientific evidence,
okay,
that they say matter cannot be created or destroyed.
Okay. Now, well, that's old 19th century stuff. That's not what scientists believe today.
That's what science believes today.
No, that's not true. This I'm going to push back on. This I'm going to have you produce evidence that science believes that today matter can neither be created nor destroyed. Because, so what is your evidence of that?
Is there any paper, back to you, is there any paper that says that they've created matter?
That matter has been created out of nothing?
Yes.
Yeah, I think there's some quantum papers about that. So let's see if we can find something.
If you have vacuum nothingness, you have nothing in
nothing to create. It just depends what nothing is. But okay, I won't go down that rabbit hole with you. But
I feel like we need Dr. Blitz for this conversation.
Yeah, we kind of do. But the other part of it though is that actually not really, because I think the real crux of this is there's a huge gap here. The gap is because you said there has to be something outside of time, space, and matter. And again, let me just say, let's just assume that's correct. Let's just assume that's correct. Again, how does that get to your God? Because you still have to, because that could be anything. Because you said something, but you didn't say the biblical God. You didn't say Yahweh.
But that, and I'm going to call it God, is outside of time, space, and matter.
How do you know it's Yahweh?
His own revelation.
His own revelation? Where?
Yes, his own word.
His own word.
Yes.
Okay, and how do we know that's true?
In the beginning was God.
In the beginning was God. Okay. Yes, so you're saying, and again, how do we know that's true? Because there's other religions that say the same thing. So how do you differentiate between what the Bible says, then what the Bhagavad Gita says, versus what Norse paganism says? Because Norse paganism says that, these gods were here before there were like these other gods that created like Odin and Loki and all these other gods. So how do you know that it was this God and not those gods? How did you determine that to be true?
So now we're on a different subject.
Well, no, we're not on a different subject.
Is how my best evidence that God is real.
Yeah.
And I gave that.
You said something, and I just granted it. You said there's something beyond that, and I'm trying to figure out what the something is, how you figured out what that something is.
Okay. And now we move to a part that there's no way for me to explain that I believe that it was God.
Okay.
That is outside of time, space, and matter, only into his own words.
Why should we believe you then?
That says he was in the beginning.
Okay, then why should we believe it?
There is no other God mentioned in the Quran or any other book that says in the beginning they were, or even identifies creation.
Okay, so what you're saying then,
the only book
the Bible's the only book
identifies creation.
What you're saying then, well, that's not true, because it does say in the Quran.
Oh.
Yeah.
In the Quran, what? What does it say about
it? It says things that, like Allah created the stars to be like, missiles to defeat demons, and it has like its own creation in there. It's got its own stuff in there. It also
says in the Bible, when you're in the Quran, when you're in doubt, look towards the Hebrew scriptures.
Okay. So again, the Bhagavad Gita has its own like creation story. Okay. You've got creation stories like from Sumerian times. You've got creation stories in almost every religion. So what I'm asking you is, how did you differentiate? Because just because it's in the Bible doesn't mean it's true. Because I think that's the other presupposition, is you're saying, well, just because it's in the Bible, that means it's true. And if we want to go down that path, well, we can do that. But I think that's what you're trying to say. So that's what I'm trying to find out from you.
Okay, well,
how did you differentiate between that this is right and that the Hindus are wrong?
Okay, so it's multi-layered. It's not just one thing that came to light that I realized that the God of the Bible is the true God.
Okay.
There's multi-layers.
Yeah, take me through that steps. Take me through that process.
I've been a Christian for 20 some years.
Okay.
And inside of that time, many things have happened. I've seen supernatural forces, I've seen demonic forces. I've seen a lot of different things. I've seen demons cast out of people.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of different supernatural events.
Okay.
That aren't explained through science.
Okay.
And they're not explained through any other religion.
Got it. So
do you have video evidence of this or anything like that? Like of these demons you cast out?
There's all kinds of video evidence.
Well, even if there was video evidence, because what you're saying because then what you've affirmed is that every religion is true, because every religion has supernatural reportings of supernatural things. Like the Hindus have a guru who walks on water, who heals people, sight unseen, and hundreds of thousands of Hindus have seen these miracles happen. So that makes Hinduism true, right?
No.
Well, wait a minute. That's the same exact.
It makes it true to them.
Well, it makes it true to them, but we're actually looking for things that are true, like actually true, right? Because they could say the same about you. They could say, well, Bible 24, all the things you've said makes it true for you, but that's because of the Maya, which is the great illusion that's been pulled over our eyes. That's what the Hindus say. So how do you differentiate that it's not the Maya that fooled you into thinking that there's demonic forces and demons being pulled out of people and all these miracles that you saw, and that it's actually the things that you saw? How did you differentiate that from the Maya?
Well, all I could do is give you a personal testimony
of
how it's affected me.
Okay, so if we take personal testimony from a Hindu, would you believe it?
If it was documented.
If it was documented? Would that cause you to become Hindu?
Would I believe that a miracle happened to them? Yes.
Okay.
If they told me a miracle happened to them and it was documented, would I believe the miracle? Yes. Would I believe it's their God who did it? No.
Okay. So then what would it take for you to believe that there was their God?
it would be impossible for me to believe it.
Why so?
Because I'm thoroughly convinced the God of the Bible is the true God.
Well, they're thoroughly convinced that their gods are the true gods. So then
Right.
if they told you there's nothing that you could say to me that would convince me, what would you think of that?
I would accept it.
You would accept it?
Absolutely.
Okay. You would accept it. Well,
What makes you think the Bible's
I'm
true,
not
though?
trying to change anyone's mind here. I'm not trying to
yeah.
convert anybody here.
Right. Well, you'd accept it, but would you think they're right?
Would I think they're right?
Yeah.
Like I said, I would believe a miracle happened if it was documented and they say it happened. I would believe the miracle happened, but would I believe that it's their God who did it? No.
Okay, so if that's the case, and they're thoroughly convinced that it's their God, what's the difference between them being thoroughly convinced it's their God and you being thoroughly convinced it's your God? What's the difference between the two? What are they not seeing that you see?
What are they not seeing that I see?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it would be impossible for them to live my life, and
but that doesn't make it right, though, right? Just because they haven't lived your life, that doesn't mean it's right, because you haven't lived their life, right? But you can't. Yeah, but you can't. I mean, you're just saying, hey, I'll just accept what they believe. Yet, what that's not what we're talking about, because what Redhead and I are trying to understand is who has either, if your belief is true. I mean, I'm a non-resistant non-believer. I'm just speaking for myself. I can't speak for Redhead Trouble, but I personally am a non-resistant non-believer, which means that if you have convincing evidence, and it's evidence, and it's convincing, and it's legitimate, it's all that stuff, I'll believe it. Okay, so we're not here just to do this just to waste our time. We're here to really look for evidence. So by that end, we're not just going to be settled at, oh, okay, they believe what they believe, Bible 24, you believe what you believe, because that doesn't really settle anything. We're trying to get to the point where what is actually true, right? So it's for me, it's more than just saying, okay, I'll just accept what they believe. I'll accept because I already accept what you believe, right? But what I'm trying to figure out is it true? Is it actually true? Because if it is, I want to believe it. I want to believe it's true. I want to believe in true things. But for me to believe in true things, there has to be evidence, right? Now, you did say you want to believe in true things as well, right?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. So if Hinduism were actually true, would you want to believe it?
It can't be true.
Okay, that's not what I asked. I said if it were actually true, would you want to believe it?
If it was the truth, would I want to believe it?
Yes.
Absolutely, I would.
Okay, so you and I are in the same boat. But I'm with you. I don't think it's true. I don't believe it. All right? I'm with you on that. But see, I don't believe what you think is true either. But
we just believe in one less God than you do.
Yeah, we do. But at the same token, and I think Redhead, you're with me on this. Like, if it were actually true, you'd believe it, right? Because you couldn't help but believe it. Like, it would be.
Yeah, and it falls apart for me, like during manuscript evidence.
Yeah, it falls apart. Yeah.
Like with textual criticism, and for me, theodicy, like those are my objections to the Bible. Like if you want to talk about those things, like we can go there. But
but I mean,
but I
mean,
I
like
can do internal critiques,
part of the
but
Bible you
I mean
want.
that's where the Bible falls apart for me is manuscript evidence, and you just. I mean, I know there's a lot of manuscripts, but as far as like when they're dated, who the authors are, that kind of thing really starts to bug me.
Yeah, all that falls apart for me too. The other part that falls apart for me is like if you start looking at the logical arguments for a God, like I've just granted everything that you've given me so far, but even then it doesn't get us to your God, Yahweh. It doesn't get us there. It just gets
to you a God.
It gets to something. Yeah, but that something, don't you agree that something could be a farting unicorn that just created existence? Could be. Something that's a timeless, timeless, beyond time, beyond space, beyond matter, farting unicorn that just created everything. Could be. But we have no way to disprove or prove that. That's the thing. Like, just like we have no way to disprove or prove it's your God, which you alluded to earlier. You said, hey, I can't tell you if it's my God. That's where my belief comes in. And then you went to, well, it's because I've seen things, right? But then if we, but then if we pull that apart, we look at that and say, well, you've seen things, but then people in other religions have seen things, right? Because they believe that there's something out there, but they believe it's their God, and they're using what they've seen, what they've felt, what they've experienced as their way to demonstrate that it's their God, just like you're doing the same. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out, okay, Redhead and I are the outsiders here. And so what you're doing is you're giving us evidence that says, okay, this is my evidence, but it's the same exact evidence that everybody else is giving. So
I can give you some evidence that nobody else has.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Really? Nobody? I would love to
Let's
hear
hear
it.
it. Yeah.
I feel like
Okay.
I've heard a lot of biblical evidence, having gone to school for this.
Perfect. So biblical evidence. Then, if you've gone to school for it, you must understand that there were 300 prophecies before Jesus's birth, 600 years before Jesus's birth. They talked about him
Jesus
dying
didn't
on
fulfill any messianic prophecies.
Yeah. We think that he went over 351
on a cross, and before a cross was even anything. The Romans never used a cross 600 years before Jesus, but yet it was prophesied.
It wasn't prophesied.
Yes, it was.
We have evidence that the Greeks were doing crucifixions. So
what prophecy are you pointing? Okay, what prophecy are you pointing to when you say that that's?
Yeah, I guess we have to look at the specific prophecy.
And you'll be for the crucifixions. I know. I mean, I okay. Let's.
I mean,
okay, we're gonna do
Googled how many
I know what cross-referencing Christians do with the text. I disagree with their interpretation.
Mm-hmm. Well,
like for example, like you guys love to bring up Isaiah 53, correct?
Okay.
I feel like that's like the one you guys bring up the most. Well, the context of the passage is, it's obviously Deutero Isaiah, and the context is Israel. The Israel is the suffering servant, and it's suffering in the time, in the context of Isaiah. It's current. There's no future suffering. We had suffered.
Mm-hmm.
So the context clues indicate that it's like has already happened.
So you're saying
because the context of because Egypt, excuse me.
Yeah, when they left Egypt, is that the suffering that you're talking about?
For Isaiah?
Yeah.
You're kidding, right?
No, I don't think that's what she's.
Where's the
They're not leaving. They're not leaving. This is Babylonian captivity.
Oh, okay. So in the Babylons, they were suffering in the Babylon captivity. Is that what you're saying?
This is Deutero. Yeah. Okay. So the context is it's Deutero Isaiah. They're leaving captivity. They're looking forward to leaving captivity. That's the context.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So the suffering servant is Israel in this context. It's not
Jesus. Yeah.
So you're
saying not Jesus.
It wasn't a prophecy.
It's not a messianic prophecy.
It mentions a past event.
It is not a messianic prophecy.
So Isaiah was a prophet. So how is it that he's talking about past events with his prophecies?
Well, again, you got to look at the context of things. So hopefully we have enough time to get into it, but
this is the only 53. I guess we'll have to see like what the chat wants.
Here, let me go. Let me pull it in.
Like if you guys want to get into Isaiah 53 after this, like we can
No, let's not even talk about Isaiah 53.
Okay.
Let's talk about
I just brought that one up because I asked for a prophecy, and I just that's like a common one.
It comes from a prophet.
Do you think okay, do you think Jesus was born of a virgin? Like do you think like Isaiah 7:14 was about Jesus? Because we're doing typology of the Old Testament.
Okay. I believe
that's exactly what you have to do when you. That's exactly what you have to do.
Born of a virgin. I absolutely believe that.
Okay.
Do you?
No, not at all.
And what is your evidence?
Okay, one evidence being is just the passage between the two birth narratives that's in Matthew and in Luke. Both of them contradict each other. That's going to be my first objection.
Yeah.
So which
contradict themselves as to the Virgin Mother?
We're gonna so the census of Quirinius is, I believe that was reported for under Luke, And then you have also Matthew reports that Jesus was born under Herod the Great, but Herod the Great died in 4 BCE.
Yeah.
And then you have a 10-year time gap between the census of Quirinius.
So
like
you think
historically
that
speaking.
Matthew's
So that's my first,
account?
that's like my, well, that's just my first objection to just the birth narrative accounts. Secondly, like when you go to Isaiah and you start, because that's referenced, you know, by the New Testament authors, they reference Isaiah 7:14, pointing to that. Problem with that, though, is that they're quoting from the Septuagint and they're interpreting Parthenos as virgin. In the Hebrew, it says the word Alma, which means young woman. Betula is the word for virgin in Hebrew. So it's clearly states that, plus the context of Isaiah 7, it's talking about a time like the young woman is pregnant and she shall bear a child. Like this is, the context is current. Like there already is a young woman in the context that they're referring to. And then you also, and this is like King Ahaz, like this is, it's happening during Isaiah's time. It's very clear in the context of,
so
that passage.
we've got a whole bunch of them.
This is what you would call a typology, and to me this is really problematic because it's the only verse that you lean on for the virgin birth as this like prophecy being fulfilled by Jesus, and it's bunk. Matthew was a goof when he tried to make that connection with Parthenos.
You know,
because that's taking a lot of liberty with the text, just from a Greek perspective too. Like you can make the argument that it is virgin from Parthenos, but I say the Hebrew text wins out over that, over the LXX.
So what about all of the references and all of
those are
the
non-Christians?
Yep,
those are all cross-references. Yep, those are all cross-references.
That verify all of it.
They don't verify. What are you talking about?
Okay, so there's several eyewitnesses to Jesus's birth.
There is absolutely no eyewitnesses to any of the gospel accounts. All 4 gospels are anonymous, and they are not eyewitness accounts. They are not biographies.
So you're saying that Matthew never wrote Matthew?
Yes,
that's correct.
Really?
We have no evidence that Matthew wrote.
Who do you oppose that actually wrote it?
We don't know. It's anonymous.
It's anonymous.
Oh, it's anonymous. So all the Gospels in the Bible are anonymous. So
correct.
You may as well just say all the books of the Bible are anonymous.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Correct.
Well, a lot of them are. Yeah,
a lot of them
only
are.
seven of like only 7 of Paul's letters could be even considered authentic. But that's using circular reasoning if you're going to like grant Acts and as a source material to verify those.
Okay,
people.
Perfect. So what about
which I don't? That presupposes Acts, and I don't presuppose Acts because Acts has a ton of problems too.
So you're saying that also that the Quran is a hoax as well, and no particular.
I am an atheist. I don't believe in I don't think any religion has it right.
So you don't believe in any other power than a physical universe. You don't believe in any spiritual power.
I'm an atheist.
Supernatural.
Nope. I believe that there is no God.
Yeah, because we don't have any evidence that it comes from anything other than, because we don't have evidence of the supernatural. The supernatural, the definition of supernatural is that which cannot be explained by science, right? So we don't have any evidence past that. So there's just no reason, there's no good reason to believe it.
Right.
We don't have the original manuscripts either. We don't have the original we don't have the original manuscripts of the Gospels, like the earliest copies we have.
We have the original manuscripts of the Hebrew scriptures.
Yeah, we have the original manuscripts. Just that
that's going in the Hasmonean period with a lot of like Daniel, for instance.
And even if we did,
there's evidence to suggest.
Yeah, and even if we did, that doesn't mean they're right. They're correct. because original manuscripts don't really mean anything. Because like we've got original manuscripts of the Vedas and the Bhagavad Gita. Like there's original manuscripts of that. There's original manuscripts of the Quran. That doesn't mean they're right. Like you wouldn't agree with those, so that doesn't really matter.
Well,
and that's where my objections lie. Like when we're talking about the Bible, like that's where my faith fell apart when I went to school for this. Was textual criticism.
I see. So you've never experienced any other power than your own power over yourself.
I thought
correct?
when I was a Christian, I thought I was experiencing, I thought I was experiencing things, but I honestly think that that's a lot of psychology and cognitive bias with, you're kind of in an echo chamber when you're in the church.
Well, and again, just kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier, Bible 24, is that you can't differentiate the personal experiences that you have with the Hindus, with the Norse pagans, with the Wiccans, because then if you're going to say then if that your personal experiences are true, then how do you differentiate that again with a Wiccan who says that fairies exist and that they interact with fairies, they talk to fairies, they summon fairies? Then how do you demonstrate that your personal experience of demonic forces and all that is true while theirs are not true?
Well, I'm saying that the fairies that they're saying are fairies are actually demons,
but they'll say that the demons that you're experiencing are fairies. So again, how do we figure out, are they demons or are they fairies?
And so now we're at a dead end on that because there's no way to actually determine it.
Yeah, but that's what we're here for. And then we're at the end of our time, and then the bottom line is there's no reason to believe either of you. So that's where we're at.
Well,
all right.
See, so if
hold that thought.
If you are saying that there's no reason to believe me, then I have to agree. That's your choice. But if you want to believe in something deeper and more meaningful than yourself and your own power to orchestrate anything in this world.
Well, who says I don't believe in things deeper and more meaningful than myself? I never said that.
Well,
I do.
Well, that's what Redhead said.
Well, in that sense, I believe in things more deeper and meaningful than myself, like my family, like love, and like things like that, like society, like things of that sort.
Wow, society. Wow.
Yeah.
I have no faith in society lately. I can't say that I never did, but society these days, it seems to be dwindling.
Well, I guess it depends on the society you're part of. I mean, yeah, there's like an overarching society, but then there's other like communities. Like I'm part of an amazing community, right now, and I'm really liking the community I'm part of. And so I've seen a lot of power in that community, and I've seen a lot of amazing things happen in that community. But that doesn't, I agree with you. Yeah, there's some scary, troubling things going on out in the world out there right now that cause me concern. But then my hope is rekindled when I'm looking at like the community I am in and the way that people interact with each other and treat each other. And I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not perfect. There's some crazy things that have happened in that community. Redhead Trouble, you and I can agree on that, but that doesn't mean that it's, oh my God, it's over and this and that. And that doesn't mean that a God exists or anything like that. It just, we're just looking for evidence. It's just, we need evidence to help us believe and understand things. And so I don't necessarily call it a choice, because that would be like me saying, I choose not to believe in Santa Claus. Like I need evidence to believe in Santa Claus, right? It's just the same thing. All right, hold that thought. We got to do a kick poll, but I'll let you say your piece here in just a second. I just got to start the poll. I've started it on the YouTube end, so you guys can vote, but I got to start it here on the TikTok side. And okay, you guys, it's starting up, so you guys know what to do. All right, so what were you going to say, Bible 24?
So I guess my final thought is this, is that thank you very much for allowing me to come up and discuss my views. And I'm sorry we couldn't come to any real agreement on much, but in the same fact, I find joy in the fact that you have other things in your life, in both of your lives, I would imagine, that brings you joy and happiness.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And love. You mentioned love and that's a powerful thing in our existence. And for me, those things all come from a source. But you know, I hope someday you find that source, you know.
I'm happier as an athist
Yeah.
Well, no,
in
I'm
my
Gotta
not
life.
say,
saying that, you know,
I'm happier
I've
too.
there's a
found so
change in
much
your
more
view.
peace and so much more
Yeah.
happiness as an atheist.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
was definitely
perfect.
a journey getting there. I mean, because I used to be a Christian as well. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Well, we're sorry to see you go. I mean, you know, at any time, you know, is if you're a true Christian, you know that any time you can come back and be
I
a
just
part of
Hey.
I've seen the wizard behind the
individual
curtain.
Yeah.
relationships,
I've seen the
not
wizard behind the
You've seen it
curtain.
behind the curtain.
I
not a
can't.
corporate one,
Well, hey,
but an
listen.
individual
Hey,
one.
listen, Bible. It's they've voted to move on, so we're gonna move on to
Okay.
somewhere else. But
Well,
hey,
that was
appreciate you coming
special.
up.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
God bless you
All
guys.
right.
Have a
Have a
wonderful
good
night.
day.
Thank you.
So, but yeah, I'm with you. Definitely since I realized that I don't believe in God anymore, felt like chains were just dropped off my body, like just weight just shed, like almost immediately. Just like, oh yeah, I don't believe this.
Yeah, and it's
And
freeing because you're not worried about this
it's
like
freeing,
God
totally
monitoring
freeing. I'm
your
so much happier.
thoughts. You
Yeah.
know, you're just happier. I've become more actually empathetic
Mm-hmm.
to people. Like
Same.
I feel like I've experienced so much healing and growth in those
Same.
areas.
Yeah.
I don't have to judge people for who they
Mm-hmm.
are. They can just be themselves. It's, you
Mm-hmm.
know, it's definitely opened me up to the LGBTQ community, like where I'm just like, yeah, this is life you
Same.
get. Like if this is that's what makes you happy, like fucking go for it.
Yeah, exactly. Especially, you know, it's just like and then I just started seeing things from a harm perspective. And
Yeah, and just
yeah,
kindness. I feel like I'm so much more kind as like I just have so much more empathy and kindness than I did when I was a
most
Christian.
definitely.
Because you don't view everybody as this
Most
opponent to
definitely.
like win
Yes.
over for the Lord,
Yeah.
and that you know, and not everyone's a threat because
Yeah.
you know you can come up with your own moral framework based on you know laws of logic
Yeah.
and just you know
Exactly. And, you know, and
and
I just,
empathy and well-being of others. You know,
yeah.
I'm a secular humanist now. I believe that you know I value like human well-being.
Yeah, exactly. And it's
You
just,
know, in
it's
whatever
just,
context that is.
exactly. And isn't it so nice now that, you know, just realizing, yeah, I don't sin anymore. Like,
I
there's,
follow the law. Like I'm not gonna do things to break
oh,
the law
yeah,
because
I'm
I
not a
don't want to go to
criminal.
jail. Like
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm not a
that's
criminal
the conclusion.
and I'm
Like
not an asshole.
I'm a yeah, I'm a
Right?
law following. Yeah, I
Yeah.
follow the law of the land.
Yeah. I'm not
And
a
I'm gonna
criminal
speak
and I'm
out
not an
against
asshole.
laws. I
Yeah,
don't think all laws just because they're on the books are good laws, and I'm gonna like
exactly.
use my voice to speak out against the ones that suck.
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
for instance, what they're doing with women's healthcare and LGBTQ rights. It's like these new laws they're putting forward, they fucking suck. They're mean.
They're really, really,
They're just
they're
so
really
mean and
bad.
oppressive, and they're you know
Well, they're
these
immoral
laws are
too.
being created by bullies,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't like bullies.
Yeah,
So
exactly. And it just, yeah, but there's just so many things that just end up not making sense, right? And we got to the bottom of his belief, you know, his evidence was, well, at the end of the day, I really can't give you evidence on that part. Well, then that's like that's what your whole house of cards rests on, is that one card. And so all we got to do is we find that one card and you pull it and the whole thing comes crashing down. And that's what it is every time. Like it's just, there's just Jenga towers. You pull that one Jenga, you just find that one Jenga piece and everything comes crashing down. Like, you know, like the first guy that we talked to was the Jenga piece that we found. It was the whole very thing about the whole rational mind thing. And we couldn't even get past that.
wasn't even a Christian. That wasn't even a Christian worldview, too. That was
No, it
just
wasn't.
wild. Like,
No, it wasn't. It was wild.
that
Yeah.
did not even fit into Christian ethics.
Didn't fit in
Like,
at all.
you're like, you just became pro-choice, though, which you know I support. So thanks.
Yeah, thanks for that. So it is time to bring up my my mods and to thank them all, because it's time for me to go. But I want to bring up the mods and thank them. So all the mods, please request up, because it's a big channel and I can't find you all. So you're all here. I've seen, well, I have one up here.
Scoot is here.
Scooty Scoot. There's Scooty Scoot. Yeah. It's just that it only shows me 100 people. And so if there's more than 100 people, then I can't see everybody. So, but yeah, this is just to thank the mods. You guys know I do this every time I come on because I'm just so grateful for all the fantastic fucking things that they do. So, did I hear the
Did
General
you hear
Lee
that?
song?
That was literally outside my door. I was just as surprised. Like that
That's
was like right
hilarious.
outside my house. Like
That was
wow. Like
hilarious.
yeah,
That was great timing too.
I am just as
It's like the Dukes of Hazzard are driving by. Oh man, Scooty Scoot, how you doing? Maybe on mute, but that's okay. Your presence is enough. So the fact that you're here is good. And I think,
exactly. Thank
yeah,
you guys.
yeah.
Well,
Thank
thanks
you.
for having me up, Tress. That
Of
was fun.
course, yeah, that was fun. That was fun. We
I
have to do it
appreciate
again
it.
sometime. Yeah, that was a lot of
A
fun.
vigorous conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, no worries, Scooty Scoot. Your bad connection and all, you're still loved. And so I want to also thank the mods on the YouTube side. Oh, I forgot there was a super chat. I totally forgot about that. It popped up earlier, but I have to say it. Okay, so this is Godwin. All of religious apologetics basically amount to, don't worry, I can explain anything. I mean everything. Totally true. Totally true. Yeah, sorry you guys can't see that. And Ninja Fist sent a makeup brusher 6 jewels. Thank you for that. I don't know what that quite means yet, but I'll figure it out. And so I want to thank the mods over on YouTube. There's Soy Sauce, Blaster Master 80. I think Rainbow Ash was floating around there earlier, but that's the two that I see. So thank you guys for modding over there. Oh, and Pseudo V Science was in there earlier. I saw that. I saw them there too. So thank you for doing some mod work over there. You guys are fantastic. You're great. I love you guys. So thank you guys so much for doing that. I really, really appreciate it. And yeah, Reddit Trouble, this was a lot of fun. So we got to do this again. Like
yes,
real
of course.
soon. Yeah.
I mean, we are going to be collaborating with
Absolutely.
all the former TSP hosts. So
Absolutely.
it's gonna be, we're gonna be we're
yeah.
still a team.
We're still a team, exactly.
Yes,
so if
we're still a team.
Yeah, and the last thing is if you're not following Reddit Trouble, you really need to do that, because Reddit Trouble is a fantastic co-host, a fantastic content creator, and she's got a lot of knowledge in that big brain of hers too. So we got to get that all out there. Get that all out in the world. Yeah, she is the best. So let's
I can vouch for that since we've actually hung out.
That's right.
She is a great
That's
person.
right. Yeah.
That's right. You did hang out, and we have photo evidence to prove it. That's right. So
exactly. And we went to the museum together. We went to the
right.
Museum of Natural History together in
That's
Denver.
Right.
That was a lot of fun.
You did, and that's right. So we have pictures of you two together. That's right. Photo evidence is in the Discord if you all want to check that out. So yeah, by the way, I do have a Discord if you guys want to join it. I know Ethereal Ember mentioned that earlier, but link is in my profile, so you're welcome to do that. So there's a live chat after party if you want to jump in there and talk a little bit more about what we talked about today. And also, yeah, I've got the memberships and all that stuff. But hey, that's the best thing you do to support me is just being here. That I just totally am very grateful for that. That's all I need. So the rest will all come together. I'm not worried about that. So really appreciate you guys. Okay. Last thing, who can we go raid? That's the last thing. Who is on? Let's see. Yeah, let's see if we can find somebody. I have
Bible guy is live right now.
The Bible guy's live?
Tiny is live.
Okay. Well, we did Tiny yesterday, right?
Live.
Yeah, we got a few people. Okay.
Yeah, Resurrected Skeptic is live.
I see the Bible guy. If you guys want to come over to Bible guy and do some, that's usually where I'm.
That's where you land
sometimes.
Yeah,
that's where I land sometimes.
Where you end up landing?
I love the Bible guy, Duncan.
Let's do
the
Dalton
running
today.
Joke is Dalton.
Let's hit Dalton really hard. Let's hammer Dalton, because Dalton is on both YouTube and TikTok. So all you got to do is just search the Bible guy on either platform, and you're gonna find Dalton. So just search the Bible guy in whichever platform you're in. You'll find him, and then just go raid him and just say TBV raid, and that's it. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna jump over there. I'm gonna pop my head in, say TBV raid. So I'll see you guys over there. And
awesome. And thanks
yeah.
for all the support in the chat, guys. Love you all. Like, love all my friends and supporters.
Yeah, fantastic.
Appreciate it.
All right. Everybody enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. And I may or may not be on tomorrow. I'm not sure. I have a meeting tomorrow in the morning, so we'll just see how it goes. But if so, I'll see you guys tomorrow. If not, I'll see you Thursday with Volsi. I'm going to be on with Volsi on Thursday. So
oh my god,
yes,
I'm so excited.
yes.
Awesome.
So me and Volsi are gonna tear it up on Thursday. We're gonna cook on Thursday, so that's gonna be fun.
Perfect.
All right, guys, have a good rest of your Tuesday, and we'll see ya. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye.